Hello, welcome to Master Powercast. James, we're back with another issue of the UK comic, issue 35. Sir, it's been a while. It's been a long time.
It's been many, many months, even years, you could say, that we last did this. But we did talk about it last time. I think we said issue 10, we'll be doing issue 35 at some point in the future, the far off future.
Yeah.
But we're all a little older and a lot less wiser. So here we are, issue 35.
Yeah. You were talking before the show that you were saying that you were thinking that maybe at some point it went to weekly, but in hindsight, maybe it was just every fortnight.
I think my brain's foggy. Marvel UK had a habit of, they would launch a comic fortnightly because obviously, doing a comic every 2 weeks is less expensive. And once sales, people would gravitate towards that comic and sales went up, then Marvel UK would say like, right now, Secret Wars is weekly, the Transformers is weekly. So a lot of the Real Ghostbusters, another one, that I think that went weekly very quickly because the Real Ghostbusters was so big at the time.
Yeah.
So, but Master Universe, I think, may have stayed fortnightly. And I think, if anything, I think it got worse towards the end. I think it became a monthly comic, which is, they also looked at, because around about issue, I wish I could remember now, about 30 or 40, they launched Master Universe Adventure magazine, which was the bigger full color like bumper magazine, is what that was monthly. But that eventually that became the only comic because Master Universe UK fortnightly got cancelled at issue 80, and then it went over to monthly where it started doing the New Adventures stuff, and that only lasted like a few. He-Man was dying at that point on its arse. It was a sad end for that comic. And then they literally did the best of He-Man, which was the front cover was an image which you can throw up on the screen. Here we go. Ready? Here it is. Oh no, here it is. And it was a cover of He-Man in the future, New Adventures He-Man, looking at a screen of classic He-Man and Skeletor fighting. It was like the best of He-Man. You'd open it up and Skrullos at the very beginning. It's like, well, young warriors. He might as well have said sales are shit, so we're going back to the classics.
Yeah, I mean, in talking about that, that's kind of a smart way of how they would do that, though. It's like, oh, it's doing well, let's put it out weekly. Sales are starting to decline. Let's go back to fortnight, and then as it gets worse, let's do it monthly, because it's not like totally canning it right off the bat, because there are still people reading it. You don't want to disappoint those people per se. So.
The one of the saddest UK comics, the way it ended, was the Transformers. I bought that at the very beginning, and I bought it up to about 100 issue 114.
Wow.
Then I checked out, right, because Transformers like Maskers come out and bind the mask comic, Real Ghostbusters, etc. Then I got back into the Transformers comic. It was still going in, I think it was about 92, something like that, early 1992. And they were just at this point just reprinting the American stuff. And I remember it was issue 330 or something. And it said in the editorial, it said, good news, Transformers, we're going to have a new direction come issue 333. But they said, we will be going monthly now, because the sales were down. But they did all these things. And then literally you picked up issue, I think it was like 332. And it said, this is the last issue. And you're like, oh, man. So there were plans to extend the UK comic, just keep going with the Transformers. And then it was just like, it's done now. We can't do it. Such a shame.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good run, though. That's a really good run.
Transformers and I think the Real Ghostbusters were two of the longest running Marvel UK comics. I think Ghostbusters ran for 193 issues. They did get into reprints, but initially, like the first 50, 60, maybe even 100 were all just new material. Not the greatest, but it was a fun comic.
Well, let's dive in. Issue 35, Inside. The startling origin of He-Man, the explosive story of the Nowhere Bomb, and an oddly colored Squeeze. Yes, that is Squeeze down at the
That looks like Squeeze. Yeah, it could be. You couldn't think it was someone else.
No, absolutely not. But we have it's fun to see Flying Fist.
It's quite funny. It's probably Flying Fist I had the action figure. My least favorite of the variants. Like Battle Armor, I really like. Thunder Punch was great because it still had the aesthetic of the original. Flying Fist, it just felt. I really didn't like the figure or the design. But I love this cover though. It's probably like if you were to say what's your favorite Flying Fist He-Man image, I would say it's probably this one. I love this, the way, you remember I talked about in issue 10, I talked about how this artist and the comic in general, they worked on the power sword. There, it looks really good. Not 100% filmation accurate, but you can tell that that's a sword of power.
Yeah. And he is surrounded by the Snake Men, which,
Yes.
interesting enough, they give it a different kind of. Normally, you think Snake Men, and once we get into this first story, kind of referred to a little differently here. But She-Ra is back. Sensational full color special.
Poor She-Ra. Her comic lasted, I think, 13 issues. That got cancelled, and so She-Ra is back. They did a one-off special, but her comic was it was kind of infamous because there's so many. I mean, there's one specific cover I always pull from. And it's an illustration. It's a great illustration of She-Ra, Sweet Bee, and Peekaboo, I think. There's this demon looming over them, and it's like, can She-Ra and her friends like stop the demon? You're like, oh my god, what is? And that story doesn't even take place in the comic. Like, so what it's so many of those She-Ra covers were completely unrelated to it's not like the different artists working on them. It was just like, let's do a cover that's like some crazy image, and then they would put a caption on it. It didn't even relate to anything.
I mean, a good way to deceive someone, just picking it up and not wanting, like, not opening it there at the newsstand to see kind of
like,
what's inside.
What's this? And then,
yeah.
So this is Search for Viper Tower.
Yeah, our first story, and they are referred to here the Clan of the Viper.
Yeah, I mean, the UK comic, you know, Tyler can rag on it justifiably for certain things, but the UK comic probably did the best next to the 2002 cartoon. Was probably the best version of the Snake Men. They gave them so much to like lore, as it were, and this, like, here they are just like sitting around. You think like, oh, they're just chilling, but this is all built up from different issues. There's been like multi-part stories where the Snake Men have tried to conquer Eternia and failed, like, and King Hiss with his like limited army. Yeah. And then you get to this issue, and as we get to the tail end of it, pardon the snake pun, but it's like, yeah, now we get to, you know, see what the Snake Men are all about. But it's a really good story, I think, and it's like I said, I think the way the UK comic, like Brian Clark, the writer, handled the Snake Men was like with he really made them feel more important than the Horde, and I think that was an edict from Mattel. They obviously were the ones that said, you know, make the comic all about the Horde to begin with. But when the Snake Men arrived, the comic does shift into, right, let's talk about these guys.
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing to me about this story is actually seeing King Hiss in this form for most of it.
But it's his natural, but it made no sense when, even in the 2002 cartoon, they would get that wrong, where he's sitting there and he's just like in his like human form. And it's like, why would you even do that? It's supposed to be a disguise, and granted, I think the disguise thing was a bit of a mistake by Mattel when they created King Hiss, because it's a great gimmick. Like, he looks like a heroic warrior. Oh my god, he's full of snakes. Yeah. I think what the writers then tapped into, again with this comic, not with this comic, with the 2002 cartoon, is that I don't think it was ever explicitly stated, but I felt that King Hiss's humour form was almost like that made him more regal and royal. It made him a king. When compared to all these like slithery snake men, he's got a humanoid form. It's like, look, I'm a king. I've got a really sharp, pointy chin. I've got this crown. I've got this, you know, I'm garbed like a leader, rather than like, look at me, I'm full of snakes. But at the same time, I love that this comic was just like, yeah, he's King Hiss. Although there is one error that you may see in this strip, there's actually two big errors.
I will leave it to you to point them out, because I may miss them. But King Hiss stating here, obviously, with the title Search for Viper Tower, they're asking, hey man, where's it at? And he's like, it used to be between what is now Castle Grayskull and our old home, Snake Mountain. So they're going to traverse through these network of caves, go to Snake Mountain, find Skeletor. Maybe Skeletor can help them along the way. Free the army, free the trapped army, because this is just a small smattering of the Viper clan, the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad.
I love the fact, though, that when you think about it, it's crazy. This is technically I wouldn't say advertising, because they weren't really going like, buy this in shops, but this is for the Eternia playset. This is, you know, which was barely available. and because they're talking about Viper Tower, which was part of the Eternia playset, and the Eternia playset, as post this issue, like from about 35 to 50, becomes like a prominent story point. Like characters go there and have adventures all around it, and it can be a bit forced, but the UK comics were trying to weave it into something. Yeah, it's Viper Tower and it's aesthetically supposed to connect to Snake Mountain, but here they're going, well, actually Viper Tower was part of, this was something we were, I just like the way it all connected. They did something with it.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as it can be, I do like the idea that the Eternia playset being implemented into the story work, because it's a massive playset, right? Not every kid was gonna get that, so I guess maybe this is sort of a consolation to a degree.
Yeah, and it's a tricky one. I'm not going to say this with 100% certainty, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Eternia playset wasn't available in the UK. I never saw it, but then I wasn't looking for it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But at the same time, like the first time I heard about the Eternia playset was at the earliest days of what became He-Man.org. We were chatting and someone said, blah, 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 Eternia. I was like, they made the Royal Palace? And someone was like, no, they made a playset that was like this big, and explained it. I was like, what the hell? There was a playset called Eternia? Yeah. So that's the thing. And bear in mind, like, I was still aware of Master Universe when that playset came out, but I don't ever recall seeing it anywhere. There could just be the shops I was shopping in.
Yeah. Well, anyone over in the UK, leave a comment down below. Let us know if you saw the Eternia playset when you were a kid. But it goes on to explain here that they were trapped by the elders. Skeletor can maybe combine his power with that of Evil Lyn. Then the dimension can once again be opened and free the Snake Army. So move on here to the next page. They go and they find Skeletor. Hey, and Evil Lyn's here.
Look at Skeletor just looking at his night. I love that image.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm just chilling, man.
I just admiring Evil Lyn.
He does look like he's checking her out. Yeah. Actually, the way Evil Lyn's cut off there is great, because it's almost like she's overhearing everything and smiling to herself, but we don't see her eyes really. It's I really like that shot. I never appreciate that until you kind of it's sort of like boys will be boys.
And a good part right here where King is after he tells him everything, and that's my plan. Will you help me? And then Skeletor's like, yeah, I agree that your puny forces are so weak at the moment that they are no real help in my battle against He-Man. And just that whole dynamic of Skeletor putting him down, but realizing that, maybe there's a little something here that I can latch myself onto. He's always scheming.
But this is what the first error. Ratlaw says, who are calling you? And it's like, no, who are you calling, Ratlaw? You've got your words wrong. The Skeletor basically calls him what, puny? He goes, who are calling you puny? It's like, no, you got it wrong, Ratlaw. So they got the grammar wrong there. But I do like the fact that both are, again, little things. They're obviously implying here that Ratlaw has a short temper. Because, again, I think prior to this, it's crazy. This is only issue 35. God, the UK comic squeezed a lot in. I think the Snake Men made their debut in issue 27, right? And at that point, Ratlaw and Tongue Lasher, they were like really weird designs. Like Ratlaw was, I think, bright red, just all red. He didn't really look like Ratlaw, and Tongue Lasher was bright yellow with red lips. Very sexy. And so I think there was one other big story after that, which was, I think it was called Eyes of the Snake. And it was a 2-part story. Again, King Hiss trying to get these jewels or something. It's been a long time since I read it. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but I can't recall if Ratlaw and Tongue Lasher were finalized design-wise in that story. This feels like maybe the first time Ratlaw and Tongue Lasher are getting some kind of what would you call it, like coverage, as it were.
Well, you talked about Ratlaw kind of having an attitude sprouting off of the mouth. Skeletor is immediately like, all right, well, fuck you. And then essentially just makes his tail like a tree. Yeah. And puts him into the ground. King Hiss saying, hey, he meant no harm. He's just, that's just who he is. And then he lets him go. He's like, very well, King Hiss, I'll help you. Let's return to the cosmic pool under Snake Mountain. So as we do that, we transition to our black and white shots. They reach the cosmic pool.
Can you zoom in on that first panel? I just want to look at it. It looks like that's a really nice panel. Like all 5 characters like walking along. It's just like a lot of detail there. You think that'd look quite nice coloured.
Yeah.
Might make a note of that color panel, because I think that's a really lovely looking panel.
There's a lot of shots in this first story in the black and white portions that I thought looked really, really good, especially the last page of it.
It's funny. I don't know if I've ever. I think I've talked about this briefly publicly, but when the whole Dark Horse thing was going, when Dark Horse were doing the books, I said, can we do like a UK comic compendium? And I just thought like that'd be so good, like to scan all the pages, maybe get the black and white pages coloured. But Dark Horse didn't think there was a market for it, which is such a shame, because I think there would have been, like, if the newspaper strip book had a great gimmick. It's a newspaper strip book. That's kind of like, oh, the UK comic may not have had a gimmick as such. It's just like, oh, these are UK stories. The newspaper strip is like, oh, this is interesting. There's a stronger pull for the newspaper strip, I think. But I think the UK comic stories, if they'd been fully coloured, which would have taken time, and promoted that way, like first time stories in full colour, I think it would have done really well. I think it would have,
absolutely. I mean, I think maybe it's just the verbiage of it, because here in the States, more so when you think it's like newspaper strip, a lot of people read the newspaper comics, whatever it may have been. So I get that, but yeah, having a UK compendium,
it just never happened.
Man, that would have been a thick book though. They probably had to do that in like 3-4 volumes.
I mean, yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell, but no, I think you're spot on. That would have been a very thick book. The Germans, there's this, oh my goodness, a company called Retro Fabric, really great, like basically kind of a fan company that get the license to reproduce a certain amount of Masters of the Universe, excuse me, German material.
Yeah.
So they've been doing that. They reprinted a bunch of the German stories. I think we talked about it on a previous show, maybe the Jitsu episode. And they like went through the issues. They color corrected certain things, because there was one German comic where Prince Adam had like a green vest. So they went in when they scanned them to reproduce them for this book, and they changed his vest to like maroon, and all little things like that. And it's like I just feel like there's something that could have been, I mean, Dark Horse still have the Master Universe license. Maybe I should just pitch it to them again and be like,
I mean, hey, maybe you should, but also too, is there another way, like outside of Dark Horse, like with because we're talking about how the Germans are putting out these stories, and you're talking about the Blu-ray set. Is there any way that something could be done with the UK comics, like over that direction?
I don't know. That's something I haven't really considered, but you make a point. It's like, it's this Retro Fabric company, I mean, they have a license, like a somewhat limited license to reproduce a certain amount. It's like, we'll produce this many. We can't go like. I think one of the rules of I say limited license because they weren't. It's kind of like the German Blu-ray. They couldn't sell to the American market. They could sell to, I think, Europe, obviously Germany, but Europe. But they couldn't. I don't think they could go to like your Americas, as it were. They couldn't sell the book like that way. So.
That might be the way. That might be the way.
Yeah, we'll see. Watch this space.
If you want to find out more about the Snake Men, though, issue 27.
Yeah, issue 27. It's He-Man like doing a weird pose on the cover.
They reach the pool. There's no point in wasting time. Let's begin our spell to open the portal to the lost dimension. Which, I mean, you were mentioning that panel. This panel looks really great too.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I like the way, as this story goes on, it's weird. Like, Skeletor knows that King Hiss is out for power, but it seems like Skeletor's had some sort of brain fart, and he's suddenly like, wait a minute. King Hiss is making all these big speeches about, like, I'm going to
rule Eternia.
Rule Eternia? Surely not. He does it again as well. Yeah, he's just like,
kingdom.
Kingdom. That's my word.
And now he's starting to piece it all together. If I help King Hiss to gather his army, he might end up more powerful than I am. Already, he's talking about ruling Eternia and making it his kingdom. So we get ruling kingdom put together. No, which I like the
Oh, the
aesthetic
speech bubble
there.
was really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Again, we're talking about the panels. That previous one where Skeletor's firing that, you see Squeeze and Squeeze and Snakeface emerging. That's like a really nice panel again. Like the composition that they're squeezing all the characters into these panels, but not making it look,
Yeah.
crazy. It's the composition is really nice. This is why this guy was always my favorite artist in the UK comics.
At the moment, we have formed an uneasy alliance until we have defeated He-Man. I would be a fool to allow you to gain too much power. So it's like, all right, we'll let these guys over the velvet rope, but no more.
I do like the fact that for the velvet rope, I do like the fact that King Hiss kind of placates to some degree. Skelly's like, no, I'm good. Like these, we'll do. It's sort of like you can almost hear like King Hiss going like, how the I mean, even we have King Hiss's thought bubbles. Like, yeah, you wait, Skeletor. I'm gonna show you who's boss around here. But,
Skeletor's saying though, yeah, these two, hey, that's enough. That's more than enough.
And here's the error. Look at that first panel. King Hiss suddenly dressed as a human.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know, because this illustration of King shows up in one of the UK annuals. Now, the UK annuals or the one I'm thinking of, was done referencing a lot of the UK artwork, UK comic artwork in the, I think like the annual, maybe 88 and 89 especially. Some of the illustrations reference the UK comics. So this one of King Hiss does appear. I think he's like gesturing next to a giant piece of equipment, like weapon or something, which makes me think, was this illustration kind of part of the package for the artists because the UK comics were done by the same artists that did the annuals as well, Spanish artists. So it makes me think that maybe this illustration of King Hiss was a part of the package. Like, this is what King Hiss looks like. So maybe the artist here hadn't illustrated King Hiss. They were like, crap, we need King Hiss in this panel. Quick, we'll just plonk this in or something.
Yeah, I'm just I'm gonna kind of look at it as maybe like he's giving this speech, and then that's when it's like he's putting up that veil that he's going to use going forward as he's giving the speech, and then just it immediately drops back into that. Great
final panel though. The splash.
Oh, dude, I love this.
And also, like, again, the UK comic. Nowhere else do you ever hear the term "the Clan of the Viper."
I like that.
Better than the Snake Man.
I wholeheartedly agree.
It's like, can you imagine if, like, on the back of the toys you have, heroic warriors, evil warriors, the evil horde, and then the Clan of the Viper. Like, and you think about those logos in the 1980s, the way they would design them, like the Clan of the Viper would look amazing. Yeah, I just think that splash page, I still to this day, it's one of those ones that I always remember. Because each of them looks really like menacing and awesome.
I mean, look at Snakeface.
It's one of the best. Compared to, like, I know I rag on them because it's so easy, but compared to those first 9 issues. When does the Hate Stones happen? First 8 issues of Marvel Star comics. The Snake Men in that is so kind of like Snakeface. I always going about the infamous line where Snakeface is like, "Yeah, come and get rocked." Or "you bet your sweet potatoes." It's like, wait a minute, Snakeface is using the term "you bet your sweet potatoes." Just like here, this is Snakeface.
I would love to get this. Will be fun to be colored and made into a poster. Like, leave out the top left somehow and like.
Oh, you could remove that and put like something. Yeah, put the logo, the Clan of the Viper, or no, maybe something in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
so good.
It's a great illustration.
I gotta say, by far, out of all the UK stuff that I have covered, past and present, this is the thing. This first story here is like, all right, yeah, here's where I finally see this is where the potential is. For me. Yeah, I love it.
It's almost like I said, like with the Snake Men, it was almost like Brian Clark. I'd have to go, as I said in the previous one, and look at Aidan Cross's interview with Brian Clark. He did this huge interview, and Brian Clark remembered so much. And I don't know if he talked much about the Snake Men, but I would think that he was given to some degree, like some carte blanche. But like we haven't got much about these Snake Men guys. This is the king. They're an emerging army from under thing. but this is all his story, you know. I think connecting him to Viper Tower might be his call as well. But regardless, the UK comics, like I say, the Snake Men were the one story that felt like it was like a story arc that would pop up every few issues and do something, and you're just like, oh wow. So and again, very limited run because they appear in issue 27, and by issue 50, the comic is now the German comic. It's now repurposing the German stories. So yeah, I know there was the Snake Men did a big story in one of the adventure magazines where they went back to, I think it's weird. They do a story where they go to Preternia, but there's no hero or Eldor, but there are like Gigantosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I think they're unnamed. It's and King Hiss, and it's really, I need to go back and look at that story, but it was like a bit odd.
Well, now we get to one of my favorite parts. I hope that the contacts that you switched over to prior to the recording help you out with this one.
Okay, let's have a look. Dear Scrollos, my brother says that the sorceress is Tila's mother. Is he right?
Oh,
in fairness, I hope you didn't bet your pocket money on this, Matt, because your brother is right. Keep reading the occasional series of Secret Files for more information on Tila the sorceress. I said in the previous, when we covered issue 10, that this, when Scrollos would say, come back for a future story, rarely did that ever happen. That's actually when they did do. I think it was like issue 58. So they're doing the German stories, but in, I think like 57 and 58, the backup story was Secret Files of Scrollos, and it was like the story of Taylor, and it's one of the best things they ever did. It was so good.
Well, it's as you mentioned on the issue 10 episode that those are some of the better stories, period. These are the Secret Files stuff.
There's some really, there's a terrible one. I think it's like the Grizzlor one, which is really bad. Because obviously I said before how badly Grizzlor is portrayed in this comic, and yeah, they I think they did one where he's abducted from his family as like a child, which is why Grizzlor's so childlike. It's like, oh
boy.
Yeah, or was that Mossman? I forget. I know there's one where you see Mossman and his family, or Grizzlor and his family. It's just like, what the hell?
It's like, nope, don't need to see any of that at all.
Don't ever need to see any of that. Don't need to know their real names or see any of that stuff. Yeah. So here we go. Dear Scrollos, I would like to know which planets Hordak and Skeletor came from. From all the issues of Master Universe I've read, I think the issues 10, which we covered, and 16 are the best. Hordak's homeworld is still a secret, but we do know that Skeletor is from the world of Infinita. I would like to know which issues of Master Universe Other Warriors, I presume is the word, Other Warriors like the best. I'll publish a list of your favorites in a future issue. No, you won't.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Dear Scrollos, can we please have an extra long story that continues in every comic? I have to go now. Beastman is tramping up the street. Tramping up the street is such a strange term because, like, yeah, that's weird.
It turns out it's just a drunk hobo.
Yeah, so it sounds like. I hope you managed to escape from Beastman, Stu, you nut job. You should enjoy the epic series about the Snake Man and Viper Tower. It does say about the Snake Man and Viper Tower now running in Master Universe. Let me know what you think about it. And yeah, I think the Snake Man story does continue. Can Fister take off his metal glove? Didn't they say this in issue? Didn't we have this thing in issue 10 as well? Or am I thinking of something else? Maybe we just talked about Fisto's fist.
Yeah, we just talked about it. Yeah, because Fisto's there, but there's nothing about.
No, yeah, he does the thing where Fisto now knows that Prince Adam is He-Man. Fisto's hand is not a glove, but an incredibly powerful metal fist.
Get it right, or pay the.
I like what I love about this keyboard is like a little joystick on it, and then if you remember the Street Fighter arcade machine, the very first one, there's the big punch button.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
Like, I don't remember the big punch button.
Oh wow! So Street Fighter, the first arcade game, not obviously the classic Street Fighter 2, the very first Street Fighter went into arcades with punch buttons on. That was how you determined the strength of the punches and stuff. You had a joystick, but rather than light, middle, and it was like. And then they realized that they were damaging the unit, so they went, right, let's just give them buttons instead.
I think with the first Street Fighter, that may have been a rarity around my area in the arcades. Maybe, I mean, it may have existed, but if anything, it probably would have been in malls. And very rarely did I find myself going to malls and mall arcades as a kid. That was more of a Tyler got to do that stuff way more often than I did. That was more of a special treat. Like,
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So I had to settle with arcade machines in grocery stores and like just smaller locales that had very minimal setups. But I'll Google that and look and see if I can look at that machine. Yeah. Moving on to the next story, the Nowhere Bomb. So
funny thing about this, right? I remembered when I was making notes. Unfortunately, I would have to dig through box after box to locate it. But I have the original script of the Nowhere Bomb, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the original script, like the original script, the cover page and everything, because like I forget who the writer was. Oh my goodness. It's not Brian Clark, it's someone else. Oh, I'll have to talk about it at some point. But the story was originally a She-Ra story, but because the She-Ra comic got cancelled, they had to rewrite it to become a He-Man story, which is why I guess She-Ra makes an appearance.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's I wish I could.
Because I was kind of wondering in this, it's like, why is She-Ra just kind of?
It's literally like one of She-Ra's only appearances in the UK comic.
Yeah,
like it's honestly one of her only. The only other time she shows up is a Secret Files of Skrullos. But as you'll see later on in this issue, there's no reference to She-Ra or Adora anyway in Secret Files of Skrullos. But yeah, here we get She-Ra making an appearance.
Yeah, she kind of shows up as this projection. But one of the interesting things about this is He-Man saying, "Yeah, I'll be glad to get back to Eternos and change back. Things have been too hot as of late. I'll be happy to rest for a while." And that's something that is explored every now and again. But just that idea of like, yeah, like he's got to get tired at some point.
Yeah, he's always on duty, as it were.
Yeah, yeah. But we get this ghostly projection. Turns out to be She-Ra, my sister. Need your help. Come quickly. That sounded. So He-Man's like,
anything for you, sis.
I feel like I've seen some of those in my day. Anyway, He-Man's saying Light Hope must have helped She-Ra to project her image, which that kind of that tracks. That kind of makes sense. So he runs off, and here we have a web store in the back saying, "Oh, he bought into this. I'll have to report back to Skeletor."
Yeah, I think I've talked before about how web store, like here, is just used as a spy, but the UK comics definitely had probably the best depiction of web store because they turned that whole Master of Escape into like the master of, you can't trap him, you can't put him in anything. Again, Secret Files of Skrullos did it, but there was one story, it was so good, where web store puts He-Man and Man-Arms in like this cage trap situation, and it's up to, and like He-Man's got to try and figure out how to get out of this trap. And they do, and like Webstore shows he's honor bound. He's like, okay, you know, I'm not going to attack you. You got out of the trap, so well done. And there's another story as well by this artist where Webstore, like a flying saucer lands on Eternia, and He-Man and Webstore, I don't know how they end up coming to be together, but they go inside and they have to puzzle solve together. And again, going back to like what we talked about issue 10, like Brian Clark, the writer, was a big fan of that whole brains over brawn kind of thing.
Yeah.
So to turn Webstore into like, he's the master of escape. So he's actually like, there's no puzzle that can stump this guy. I loved that depiction.
Yeah. And the fact too, much like you mentioned, that you could take him and put it to where he's sort of making these traps and setting things up. But there's a lot of potential there.
It's like, do you expect me to talk, Webstore? It's like, no, Mr. He-Man, I expect you to die. It's like, oh, wow, that's a panel for you.
Yeah, he could just be this combination of Riddler and Jigsaw from the Saw.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, Riddler. That'd be a great one, yeah.
So it turns out that this fake message was created by Evil Lyn, and He-Man's been tracked into using a dimensional portal, and thanks to the Limbo Bomb, the journey he will never complete. So
none of this makes sense, these next two panels. It just makes no sense. Skeletor, I think I made my notes here. I think they said something like, during a battle, the bomb was attached to He-Man, right? And it's like, but okay, right, let's go. Yeah, we're going to go with that. But that would imply that we've just seen He-Man in the forest saying, "Phew, shouldn't you have just shouldn't you have just been saying like, well, I just had that battle with the villains or something? There'd been some connection because
Yeah.
if he's just had like a day of just walking around, kind of checking out if everything's okay in Eternia, he would have looked at his power sword numerous times and seen this giant bloody device on it, which is even more hilarious. It's like, oh, the limbo bomb attached to.
It's like there, and then as you see attached, right there. So.
They should have made it so much smaller. It's crazy that
it should have been more like a tracking device.
Yeah, like what you see Spider Tracer, right?
Yeah,
with the little thing that you used to throw at people. Yeah, like cause it should have been attached to his belt, or like I say, the premise the story should have started off with like the villain's kind of laying there like, oh, He-Man's done us again, and the web's still saying, but don't worry because I managed to get the limbo bomb on his belt. I attached it to one, or during the thing, I managed to do something.
Something.
He-Man walking around with a giant bomb attached to his sword. It's like
it's probably like blinking and shit too.
Yeah, exactly. Like making noise. Like He-Man's like, what was that? Like,
must have been a bird or a
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he walks through the portal, and
the premise is really good. It's a really great premise. Yeah.
But just the execute the schematics of the whole thing a little off. But a trap. I'm being sucked out of the portal is further proof that the message was false, because he was having bad feelings about it anyway, as he was telling Orko. The vortex seals itself, and he's a prisoner now. We need to make mention here as Spike-Orb's kind of hanging out in the background. So.
And we get a weird mistake here, because it looks like Webster is coloured as Too Bad, right?
Yeah.
And then if you go down, then you actually see Webster drawn more like the action figure and Too Bad in the background. And it's like, what is going on? We already saw Webster earlier in the story looking like the cartoon. Yeah. Then he looks like the cartoon. And in the vehicle, he looks like the toy. It's like, I don't know what's going on now.
But hey, great to see all these vehicles being depicted in this one shot. Yeah, having Spider, the Land Shark, and the Roton.
What's Beastman on? Is that Panther? I can't quite see.
I guess. Yeah, it is. It is.
It's Panther looking very sad.
I mean, wouldn't you be if Beastman's on top of you?
Oh dear.
I kind of wonder how that would work as well. Would Beastman do anything to if Panther tries to would Beastman try to control Panther at all?
Well, there's that wonderful story, Battle of the Cats, which I forget which issue that's in, where because the UK comics had the thing that Panther could talk, right, much like Battle Cat. And there's this great story like Battle of the Cats where Panther's giving Beastman grief and saying like, oh, you're not pulling your weight around here. So Beastman's like, right, I'm just gonna make you scared of everything, and kind of so he just controls him. And then Skeletor's like, right, take Panther out. And he's like, oh god, Panther's scared. It's this really, really bizarre story. But then it is a really great story where Beastman. I won't spoil it in case we do that at some point. It's really good.
So there's probably some kind of conversation going on right here.
Yeah. It's like, come on, pull your weight.
Now we get Man-at-Arms, Rio Blast. The guys hanging out. Yeah, all hanging out here. Stondar, this is kind of like Pampa.
I think they're not the best color in there, but yeah, he's again, as I said in the previous episode, there's certain characters that they just keep pushing in these stories at this point. You're rarely going to see a Ram Man or a Stratos, or it's going to be Rio Blast and Roboto and Cyclone and Stondar and Rock-On, because they were the latest flavors, as it were.
Yep. Sensors are showing that an attack is underway by Skeletor, who may have been trying to locate He-Man, but so far we've not found him. It's as though he's vanished. Oh no, what's happening? Orko's using his magic, of course, to try to contact him, but even he is drawing a blank. So here's He-Man out in the blue void.
Yeah, just limbo, man, just
hanging out.
We get a great shot here, and it's really interesting. If you scroll down to the second to last panel, where He-Man sees the fright zone, and that's really cool because that if people saw that in any other context, they'd be like, so he's on Etheria, and it's like, no. And the UK comics beautifully explained this, because someone asked in the letters page. Again, the letters page could be both throwaway and a wealth of information. So they one of the letters once asked, why is the Fright Zone toy different to the cartoon? And I thought this was a really good answer. Scroll says the Fright Zone toy is Hordak's Eternian base of operations, and the Fright Zone you see in the cartoon is his, dominance over Ethereum. I was like, I really like that. That makes sense why the two differ. So yeah, He-Man sees the Eternian Fright Zone here, and he's like, oh, if I can go over there, I can make fun of Grizzlor.
Yeah, Grizzlor's just doing some chores, cleaning the place up, sweeping.
They took the whole thing about, because Grizzlor's thing was he's the kind of, he oversees the Fright Zone, which you kind of see in that in Beast Island, the second episode of She-Ra. He's like the master of Beast Island. He's controlling all the traps and everything. It's like, okay, Beast Island, Fright Zone, yeah, there's a little connection there. But here it's like, oh yeah, he's the caretaker of the Fright Zone, so we've got to show him sweeping. It's like, oh, come on, man.
And he's asking to himself, why do I have to stay behind and look after things? I enjoy going to Etheria. Going through the space warp makes me laugh. So He-Man gets the idea.
Just the deafening silence after that line. Just like, oh.
Yeah, so He-Man gets the idea.
Grizzlor.
Yikes, He-Man has come to haunt me. Help. Man. He-Man saying, unless you do something for me, I will stay near you forever. Just imagine what Hordak would say to you about that.
That panel with Grizzlor walking off is crazy. It's a terrible, like he's like striped, but then you've got He-Man like the ghost form, and he looks like he's wearing blue pants. It looks like Superman or something. He's floating. It's really weird.
And he's got the superhero pose, standing there, arms crossed.
This story wraps up kind of really messily, I think. It's like, okay, look, here come the villains, but we're just going to be talking to Grizzlor.
Yeah. Oh, Grizzlor, what are you doing here? Oh, man. So Grizzlor explains everything, and that would explain why we couldn't find He-Man. It's like, okay, all right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very
and then there's a great, so Orko is the one to kind of rescue He-Man. And obviously, at this point, they think, oh man, Orko's not supposed to be this powerful on Eternia. So Man-at-Arms has to have this thought balloon to himself of like Orko's trying the hardest he's ever tried, something like that. It's like, okay, oh, here we go. Here's He-Man.
And then moments later, He-Man just pops out of the hole in the wall through the portal.
Which just happens, even though he disappeared where I would assume is in the Evergreen Forest or somewhere far away from the palace, Orko rescues him and brings him back to the palace. And again,
that's pretty good. Good job, Orko.
Good job, Orko. And then we just get one of these things where it's like, we're all going to have one panel of the battle it's just like everything happens in this one panel. He-Man shows up, Skeletor surprise, they defeat the villains. We'll get you next time, He-Man. Yeah. Just, and there they go.
And once again, out of the three, why does this have to be the one that's fully colored?
It's weird. Imagine if this was Clan of the Viper.
Yeah, absolutely. Then I wouldn't have to say this would be awesome to be colored and made into a poster. It would mostly already be done.
The silly thing is, the premise of this is really good, but it's the thing that we touched upon in issue 10. You can't tell this kind of story in 5 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Or if you do, you have to really simplify it. I'm very critical of the Real Ghostbusters UK comic, but what they managed to do right was tell a story in 5 pages without it feeling like, oh, they're trying to squeeze too much in. And if they had to expand, they would tell it in 2 stories. This is one of those where it's like, this should be 2 stories. This should, 2 parts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It makes no sense that it's, He-Man goes to limbo. Maybe I'm being a bit too amateurish in some ways. Like, you could tell a story in 5 pages, but I just think you have to simplify it somewhat. Like, this is me completely, I guess, humble brag in some degree. But when IDW hired me to write a Ghostbusters story, they said, you've got 9 pages, and it has to be about a holiday season. So I was like, right, what's left in this trade paperback? So they gave me Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, terrific. The one holiday we don't celebrate over here in the UK. So I thought, how do how do I tell it?
That sucks, man.
How do I tell? Like, give me Christmas. Like, Christmas had gone, Halloween had gone. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So they gave me Thanksgiving, but I know enough about Thanksgiving, so I was like, okay.
James is like, actually, you guys know this version of things. Let me tell the true version of how it really went down on Thanksgiving.
So yeah, I just I thought, like, right, how do I do this? And yeah, I told a 9-page story where the end of the story wasn't the conclusion to the story, but you knew what was going to happen next. It's like, oh yeah, this is enough that we know how this is going to work out. My point is, you could have had He-Man come back through the portal, right? Orko rescues him. This is me kind of not expanding the story, spacing it out and not making it too truncated. You could have Orko rescue He-Man, and then they're all stood in the palace going like, right then, let's go and take care of Skeletor. We know what's going to happen. You don't need to show 3 more panels. I get the battle scene, like kids are like, yay. But I think kids would be just as satisfied if you had a panel of He-Man and these warriors going like, right then, let's go and let me remind Skeletor, who's in charge or something, going back out there. You don't need to see, take that, Skeletor, I'll get you next time, He-Man. Skeletor never learns. You don't need that. And so that's the way there is a way of telling that Nowhere Bomb story in 5 pages without loading it with all that stuff, I think.
What would you have kept the ghostly projection of He-Man to Grizzlor and scaring him?
No, I think that's part of the story I really dislike. It's just there are ways to do it. Like you could have just had He-Man like literally see the royal palace or see Orko and say like, oh well, Orko's a magician, so he's on a different plane of exist. Like he exists in maybe 2 planes or something. Like there's Orko, and then there's the magical side of Orko, and it's like, He-Man, what you? And he's like, where am I? I'm in limbo, I guess, or something.
Yeah,
just have that.
Would have been a way better way.
Yeah, rather than like Grizzlor,
He-Man. And that also opens up the idea of how Orko is able to pull him out of it. Yeah, because he's managed to kind of split that to locate him, kind of deal.
Yeah, it's almost like the Grizzlor thing is a story beat that does not need to happen at all.
What
we got? Disney World.
Yeah, Steel Eye and the Lost Magic win a Disney
holiday. Idea. Oh, I guess if you bought a TWA, are they still an airline going? Oh, Howard Johnson. I used to stay in a Howard Johnson in Los Angeles when I'd go. But then I think
all I remember about Howard Johnson's is it was some point, I think in the mid 90s, probably when they had the most amount of hotels, I would say, and they were going by that Hojo moniker.
Oh,
in the commercials and stuff. Yeah.
I always liked their branding. It was like orange and blue. For some reason, I thought it was like a really. I remember they did a thing where, I don't know if you ever watched Mad Men. Like in, I think the final series, there was some connection to Howard Johnson and they would pop up and stuff. And it was just, I was just like, I always liked there. Whenever I was staying in the hotels when I was in America, I always enjoyed them. But yeah, I think they're all gone now. The one I used to go to is now I think it's now a place where they house homeless people. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah. I've always, like, anytime that they abandon like hotels and schools, like actually one of the schools here, they repurposed, not for the homeless, but they repurposed it into apartments. I was like, take all these big buildings and just repurpose them into affordable housing.
Well, I mean, like what you're seeing now in America, especially the deaths of all these shopping malls, which is a tragedy in some ways.
Yeah,
it's like doing something with those.
Yeah, some of them have actually started doing that though. They've actually started making apartments and lofts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like make affordable housing out of these things, or how it goes. But we've mentioned the secret files a lot between issue 10 and this episode on issue 35. So here we're actually going to get one on Prince Adam and the origins of becoming He-Man. So
to quote Squirrels, his middle name, He-Man.
Oh yeah, Prince He-Man Adam.
I always thought as a kid that was very silly. I was like, but right from the get-go, it's like I remember reading this and just thinking like, oh, they're going into the kind of, I would say the Filmation origin, but technically this is the series Bible that Michael Halperin wrote. So we have like, she's a pilot from Earth. Queen Marlena Glenn, that is. Not looking much like a Filmation thing, but she, I do like this design of her, like the little tiara of planets on a.
I do
I
too.
thought it's a really cool design. But yeah, she's testing like I think they say like a space a hyperdrive or something, and she breaks through.
Ion drive.
Oh, an ion drive, and she traverses a space warp to Eternia. Which I thought was like really nice. And obviously, if they were following the series Bible, then she would have her 3 co-pilots with her, Dr. T.E. Scope, Biff Beastman, and Evelyn Powers. Thankfully, she doesn't have them, so we're spared that. Thank goodness. But crash lands on Eternia. Some Disney characters get out of the way.
They kind of go through this part rather quickly. It's like, Randor shows up to her rescue.
They cover the story beats in half.
Yeah. He falls in love, and they
I think
get
he
married.
says like he goes, "You'll be you'll be known as Queen Marlena," and it's like that feels weird. It's like I've given you the name Queen Marlena. It's like, well, my name's Marlena Glenn, so yeah, I'm happy to be Queen Marlena. It just feels a bit weird. But yeah, this was interesting. So yeah, like bear in mind the She-Ra comic came out at this when when Master Universe issue 12 came out. So at this point, the She-Ra comic's been cancelled, and as we saw in the very start of this comic, they're doing a one-off special. But here, we don't see Adora at all. It's like they haven't presented them as twins. And bear in mind, the UK comic coined the phrase "twins of power" when talking about He-Man and She-Ra. So it's like really weird that they make no mention of Adora here.
I mean, maybe Adora was born first, and she's set off to the side, and then Adam has come out moments later, and he says, "A son."
A son. Yeah, so, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so Adora's probably just off panel.
Just off panel.
Yeah, maybe like hanging out over here or something.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll go with that. But yeah, from this, they're presenting young Adam as carefree and yeah, I'm all right, kind of not really caring, and Teela's
And I like how he says here, "Oh, don't worry, Teela. I can always appoint you as my captain of the guard."
Check that out.
Yeah. How, if they were to explore that a little more in animated form, you think there would be any interest in doing something like a prequel series?
Oh God, don't give them ideas. I mean, I would like to have seen.
I mean, you know how they do that with practically everything. Do you think that's something that we might see at some point as a prequel series focusing on Adam before he becomes He-Man?
I mean, in this day and age, anything is possible, unfortunately, as we've seen. It's like, hey, you want a crossover of Turtles and He-Man 900 times? You're going to get it.
Have you seen the G.I. Joe crossover turtle toys? No? You had the exact same reaction that when Tyler and I recorded an episode on Tuesday. At the end of it, I was like, have you seen those? And he's like, oh, they made that? I was like, yeah, they did. That's awesome.
Don't show me.
Okay.
I'll spare you. I'll stumble upon them at some point.
Okay.
It's but that's what I mean. I always think Filmation did a fantastic job at world building with their flashbacks. We had flashbacks to Teela at the City of Wisdom with Malek. We had obviously Teela's quest, where you saw the element, the story of how Teela came to be adopted by Man at Arms. We had numerous things, and I think back then I would have loved to have seen this story in animated form. It's just that now, I've been honest. Like Revelation worked for me initially, and then lost me at the second half, and then I still to this day, and people might not believe me, but whatever. I still haven't seen Revolution, and that's no knock on my friend Ted Biaselli, who works on it. He and I have spoke face to face about it because we're grown men, adults, and we have a discussion.
Yeah.
And Ted's not like, you bastard. He's just like, no, that's fair enough, man. If that's not your cup of tea. But he said, give it a chance at some point. I was like, of course, I'm always going to give something a chance. I'm just not. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not in a rush for it. But yeah, I'll watch Revolution at some point. It's just that. I've said this before, and I said it. Excuse me. I said it during around about Classics, when Classics started to happen. I said my Master Universe Princess of Power happened in the 80s, and I'm fine with that. Like people would say, oh, you should. I've had messages over the years where people are like, you should keep supporting it, and it's like, Oh yeah, sorry, I'm not giving enough money to the billion-dollar corporation. Apologies for that. Times are tough, but I'll buy all the figures if that's what my master's decree. It's just like, no, I'm going to live my life. I'll be good.
Well, let's kind of talk about that a little bit, because it's something that we always traverse through often. Like, I would say close to almost every episode, because Tyler kind of goes on his tirades as he does about the current state.
You should caption that. It flashes
Tyler's
tirade. Yeah, it comes up.
But he just always has a tendency to go into that mindset of doing that, and more often than not, you kind of made mention of that, of others in the fan base kind of wanting to project on that, either, oh, well, you're not a fan of it or whatever, because you're not currently buying all the stuff or watching and consuming or liking everything that they're doing. And it's like, it's cool if you like that. It's like, why can't you understand that? It's fine. You can enjoy that, but it's not for me. Like, this was mine, that is yours.
I would say every few weeks I get a message from someone saying, oh, what do you think of this reveal or something? And 9 times out of 10 I'll say, like, oh, I didn't even know about it. And I'll say, oh, it's not for me. Like, someone literally asked me last week what I thought of all the crossovers, and I just said, oh, not for me, but I'm glad that they found an audience. And that is the truth.
Right.
Like, do I agree with their designs and the intent? Absolutely not. But am I going to go on a massive tirade about them, and waste my time? It's like, no. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I haven't done that for a while. I understand Tyler's tirades, because I have them myself. But it's that thing of, you do them in certain forums, then you go, well, how do I balance that out, or how do I mentally get around that? The way you guys get around it, and I get around it, and others get around it, is by creating and telling. I always say, I'm going to tell people what I love. Like, rather than saying, here's why I didn't like Revelation, I'm going to say, here's why I love this.
Right.
I don't want to go over too much old ground, but I think when Revelation first happened, and it was getting loads of bad press before any even single episode had aired, where people were like, oh, it's all going to be about Teela, and but in the kind of ridiculous way of like, oh, they're going to make it a Teela show, blah blah blah, which they kind of did, but I understood the story. Understood the story they were telling. Excuse me. But I did a thing where I did a hashtag that went as viral as I can get something to go viral, and it was hashtag I love He-Man and She-Ra, and the instruction was, on this day, just post what you love about He-Man and She-Ra. It can be an action figure, it can be a mini comic, it can be anything. Just post something that you like. And honestly,
what did you want me to do, James? I can't quite understand.
Yeah, that did happen a few times. But honestly, most people, I would say like 99.9% of people I recall were posting. I did a search for the hashtag, of course I did. And it was just all lovely stuff. And I was like, this is fantastic. There was, and there was obviously one person. It wasn't anyone we know. And it was just like, I love everything about He-Man and She-Ra except Revelation, which is shit. Like, a single episode hadn't even aired yet. But I was like, oh, you do you. But it's that thing of, and it sounds really cheesy and maybe nauseous at times. But it's like, I just want to put out awesome stuff into the world, and of like why I do Friday night trivia videos or He-Man videos or Serial Geek TV or come on this show. I just want to talk about awesome stuff that we love, or can look at and go, well, that Nowhere Bomb story, the idea that everything nostalgic is perfect will absolutely undo everybody.
Absolutely.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles 1987 series was perfect. Really?
No.
You really think that? Like,
very far from.
Very far from. Like, the first few seasons are great, but there's a big reason why I checked out by midway through season 3.
Absolutely.
And I've been back and watched episodes that I'd never seen. To this day, there was some episodes of Ninja Turtles I haven't seen. And I'll watch them and be like, this is atrocious. You want to talk about a show that jumped the shark. Yeah. And then they tried to, obviously, Ninja Turtles, they tried to get it back towards the end. But I think as a fan, to think that everything old was perfect is insane, and everything new is crap.
Yeah.
Every single thing, new and old, has good and bad, and even like Revelation, I'm sure. Actually, I'm not even saying this. There was things about it I did like aesthetically. There were certain things about it I did like. Other things I didn't. But I'm not going to sit there and say flat out it was crap, because I don't believe that. It wasn't for me, but it was for other people.
Yes.
It's one of those things, and I just, you can't make that blanket statement. And I understand that, people being, passionate about things, you can go like, oh, I'm writing this off completely. Like you saying there's a G.I. Joe Ninja Turtles crossover. I'm like, oh dear God. But here's how I cope with that. That's it. I go like, oh right, let's
yeah, but let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah, it just bright red and insane, because it's like, that did me a lot of good.
Yeah, you can't just let it sit and fester. And you brought up a good point too, of just things in the past and people thinking that it's perfect. This show is more often than not now, when we're doing stuff from the past, looking at it and just being like, this was good, this wasn't so good, and this is how you could probably tweak some things and make it better. So much like as we're doing here with the UK, it's like that story had potential, but
that's what
you needed more time.
I love about what you and Tyler do, is when you look at something and you go, they could have done this or they could have done that, or and on occasions you go like, oh, that's a great story, or whatever, and like that's the beauty of it. And this sounds really kind of lame, but I love disagreeing with people about episodes or stories, but not from like that, but just going like, Tyler doesn't like the Problem with Power. I love the Problem with Power. I love discussing that with him, rather than just the kind of those blanket statements where it's this. It's like, right, why is it this? Like Tyler can form an articulate argument of why he dislikes the Problem with Power. That's what I love about that, and that's the great conversation pieces you can have. It's just that thing of the mindset does always seem to be, let's just, I don't know, a figure, Man at Arms. This is Man at Arms. This is the best figure ever. This is how it should always be. And it's like, oh, right, okay, so we can never deviate from that. We can never change that. We can never do anything. Yes, this is Man at Arms until the world is encompassed by the red dwarf. Like the red dwarf was it red giant, white dwarf? Sorry, yeah, red giant. When the sun encompasses the earth and envelops it and all humanity is gone, that Man at Arms figure will have always stayed the same. It's just like, it just doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me, brother.
Oh, you got me, brother.
Yeah, you got me, brother. So yeah, that was our little mid UK comic tirade, I guess.
Just before Adam reached his 21st birthday.
Interesting here, because the UK comics had previously said he was 18.
Yeah, I was I was going to ask you about that with the conflicting information of.
I think even the series Bible, which this story is obviously pulling from, they say that he's, I think, 18. So what does it say? It says before his 21st?
Just before Adam reached his 21st.
So yeah, the implication here is that he's 20.
18. 18's the way to, because when you think 18, most people think that's like you're an adult.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So we've met here with Skeletor. We get the Sorceress Man at Arms talking. The time has come for you to bring our champion to Castle Grayskull.
I'm just quickly going to say about Skeletor. They actually retcon this in a later story when they do a Secret Files of Skrullos, and it's one of the best moments in the UK comics. Again, I won't get to that until we review that.
Okay.
But they do a wonderful thing about how Skeletor. It's one of my favorite things ever. Like no other canon has come close to do what the UK comics did, and why Skeletor was able to break through the Mystic Wall. I'll tell you off camera, because I think remind me, because it's so good.
Something to look forward to as we continue reviewing issues of the UK comic. But he's saying, I understand, I'll take the young prince to Castle Grayskull. Yeah, once again, today is your 21st birthday and the day you become a man.
Yeah.
Because of a great danger approaching eternity, you must become more than a mere man. So, could you imagine that? Duncan, who you've known your entire life, is like, all right, today you become a man. They walk up to Castle Grayskull. It's like, all right, you got to go in there by yourself. It's like, okay,
it's like, am I going to be paddled by a bunch of, it's really weird.
We have known for a long time that Prince Adam was destined for great things. I just hope that he is strong enough to face whatever lies inside Castle
This is what I
Grayskull.
talked about in a previous when we did issue 10. I talked about this artist, and when he does spiritual and mystical activity, I love his artwork because he creates these like really detailed, random, and you get it in the next few pages as well, like really intricate like shapes and the old eye and the triangle and stuff. And yeah, I really love how he presents it. And Adam does look younger here as well. They do a good job
he
of
does.
that.
Yeah,
He looks younger and kind of really, the expression is really well, like, I don't know, it gets across the whole emotion of it. And I reading this back, like, I know this story really well, but reading about it's like, it is weird that the sorceress doesn't fully show up in her form, but at the same time, I kind of like that she's in this like spiritual form of just like a floating head, or as we see later, just like a bit of a body kind of thing.
yeah. Well, I see her floating amongst all the information and knowledge that he's about to absorb. Yeah, and even though it's an earthly thing, I was fully expecting to see E equals
MC squared. I'm sure that isn't in like one of the panels.
Is it not?
I don't know.
Is it in here?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be. No, maybe I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like why how is it not there?
Yeah, but suddenly Adam can understand the solution to the most complex problems that have puzzled the wise men of our planet. So
which is great. I love that.
Yeah, and he's kind of getting overloaded with all this information, so you can kind of just hear and just the struggle.
Like, as much as I love the 2002 cartoon, this origin for me is so much better, because in the 2002 cartoon, it's like, you got that kind of snarky Cam Clark voiced Prince Adam, like, what? Why am I here, sorceress, kind of thing, or whatever. But he gets handed the sword, transforms into He-Man. Obviously, he goes there the first time, then he leaves, then he goes back. He's given the power sword and, transforms into He-Man. But here you feel like there's a lot more going on. It's like he hasn't just been given a sword to become like a big guy. It's like, here's all this knowledge. He's
given
wisdom.
Everything.
Yeah.
All at
it's
once.
like you're the most powerful man in the universe. And like I said, the writer, Brian Clark, for the most part, was always like, right, brains over brawn.
Yeah.
So He-Man is he's like a strong guy who can move planets and stuff, but also like, let me problem solve. So yeah, I thought they I think this is like, I'd love to see this animated.
Well, it shows the gravitas of what he's going to become. Yeah. Even before
the elders in the background, they're so cool. They're like,
kind of creepily staring like, in the dark,
coming out the shadows.
Darkness.
Yeah. And then they all appear, and it's like the elders. It's like, there they are.
We haven't much time, Prince
Adam, and there's all the group. And again, I love the fact that there's not a thing where it's like Prince Adam held up the sword of power and said, by the power, there's none of that. It's just, I think they say, like, no one really knows what happened during that time. Like, even Skrullos, this person who knows all this stuff, he's not even sure how Prince Adam was transformed into He-Man. But yeah, the elders just kind of surround him and bathe him with like all their mystic power and knowledge, and then he comes out as He-Man, and then I love this panel of just shouting. It's just like, I don't know if that was a warranted panel, but yeah, I love it.
Well, I mean, you think about it. This would be the equivalent, like you're talking that we should just, you and I should just both drink like 3 monsters and then do a show. Maybe that's how he's feeling right now.
That is true. Yeah, he's just down 3 monsters. He's like, I got unless he had 0 sugar, then he's not going to be. I tell you what's interesting about this shot as well, and it might be just for composition purposes, but they've gone for like the old, an angled shot, like a Dutch angle kind of thing. It's like,
give the old Battlefield Earth over here.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. But I think I love this panel. Like, the elders are behind him, and he looks so awesome here. It's almost shame. It's a shame, but again, limited page count. This was a normal 20 something page comic. That would be a full page splash page. He-Man stood there with the elders around him. So cool.
My friend Duncan is waiting for me. I must explain to him what has happened. So,
and I like the fact that Duncan instantly doesn't recognize it as Adam.
Yeah.
He's just like, because you could read that and misconstrue. Like, he's saying by the elders, not because he's like, oh, Prince Adam's lost half his clothes. He's like, by the elders, who is this like huge muscle-bound barbarian wielding a mighty sword?
Yeah, the sorcerer's saying, you should probably tell him who you are.
And again, I love the sorceress just kind of floating there, half a body kind of thing, not
Yeah.
fully formed. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And He-Man does his whole speech about like, I will, fight for. Interesting here, they kind of, I don't want to say screw up a little bit, but like he transforms back into. I don't know. Sorry, if you want to go through those two panels there where he.
Oh well, just as he's explaining everything, a man at arms saying, "You mentioned Earth. If your mother comes from Earth, then you must be."
Yeah, by the power of Grayskull, I am Adam. And it's interesting because he says afterwards, he says, in order to change into He-Man, I just change my name. And it's like, no, you don't say by the power of Grayskull, I am He-Man. You say by the power of Grayskull, I have the power.
Yeah,
it's a bit of an odd one, but yeah, I've always loved that panel there of him saying, I am Adam, holding up the sword.
But not only that, the sorceress says she's got another gift for him. The powerful
this is really
punch
thrown in at the end. It's like,
the thunder punch.
I'm surprised she didn't mention the flying fist, to be honest, because that is a more recent one at this point.
Right, and it is on the cover after all. Yeah, you'll be able to use your punch on rare occasions because it requires great strength. Use it wisely.
It's funny. The UK comic never illustrated him as Thunder Punch He-Man, right? Never wore that costume, but in very early issues, he did call upon the Thunder Punch, and you'd see him like using like double-fisted, like kind of punch kind of thing. And it's they really did. They turned that into a thing rather than a gimmick, as it were.
Yeah.
But I always love these two panels with like Adam kind of longingly looking off, like he's gone from he literally it's almost like evident in his face as well. He's gone from a boy to a man.
Yeah.
And then that panel there of just like Adam and He-Man, Adam and Man at Arms stood there. Adam's hand on his shoulder, like that's the friendship. Again, I love the sorceress just like, peace, I'm out. Kind of
yeah.
woo.
Yeah. But I love the part. He's like, I haven't been told the full extent of my powers yet. What I do know so far is that already an evil warrior is on Eternia. So we must get together an army of heroic warriors to battle these evil ones. Man at Arms, I want you to be the first to join me. It would be an honor. And then, we get this cool shot of just all the heroic warriors that have been assembled.
They do a story. I think it's I forget which one it is. Secret Fires of Skrullos, and it shows him becoming friends with Stratos and the Avionians, as it were. Avionians. So they do cover that as well. And then you obviously get the stories of how Cyclone and Rio Blast in Skrullos came to be part of the heroic wars, and obviously you get the origin of Snoutspout in one. Story.
It would just I imagine how this goes as he's going and recruiting people. It'd be much like this movie. You've probably never seen it. It's from the 80s. It's called Kill Squad. And this guy goes around and he's amassing these different fighters, and all he does is, Joseph needs you. Goes on to the next one, finds the guy, Joseph needs you. So I imagine this He-Man's going around, Eternia needs you. Okay.
I feel like it's been parodied in numerous things, but there's that episode of Rick and Morty when he's assembling like this group of people, and it's like Rick Sanchez, you son of a bitch, and then he goes to someone else, it's like Rick Sanchez, you son of a bitch, and he just hires all these people for like one little single joke in the episode. But I think unless I'm mistaken, like I feel like I've seen that Kill Squad scene. If Red Letter Media covered it, maybe.
Probably more than likely.
That's what I'm thinking of. Where I'm sure I've seen that. Yeah, where Thingy needs you.
Hey, you want to get all this for free, James?
Oh, free toys. When's the closing date? Because it was set at the bottom. Let's have a look when the actual closing date is.
August 1987, Friday the 7th.
Friday the 7th. So this would have been 7/14/20, 2 weeks before my 10th birthday.
And this would have been close to the release date of the live action movie in the States as well.
Oh right. I mean, it's literally a week after this, or 2 weeks after this. I walked through a plate glass window and scar up my body. So interesting.
Tyler's probably gonna be like, oh, you didn't remember that? That's the exact day that the live action movie released here in the States. So yeah, there we go.
Look at that.
Yeah, but if you so it says win all of this. So I'm assuming you get the figures too, or is it just going to be the Stilt Stalkers and?
I'm guessing you win the figures. I mean, they would have had.
You would have to, right?
Yeah, you would. It's tricky because Man-at-Arms and He-Man figures. What does it say?
It says these 4 Master Universe items.
I reckon Steel Stalkers, Mega Laser, Steel Stalkers, Jet Sled, and Rio Blast. I reckon they're the ones you win.
Because Blast is the
He-Man and Man-at-Arms would have been figures that were kind of maybe out of stock-ish.
Yeah.
God, the Steel Stalkers.
what do you want to say about the Steel Stalkers then, James?
Just like Jet Sled, yes. Mega Laser, nah. Steel Stalkers, do me one. It's just like, yeah.
I'll make sure to show Tyler this portion of the show.
Well, when you guys were doing the card back, the tier list for ones where I was just like in such agreement when the Jet Sled one, where it's just like He-Man, like, hello. It's just like, what? Like, all these awesome, cool mini comic panels and illustrations of He-Man with the Jet Sled attached to his back, flying into battle like Superman, and they choose him to be like, I'm just going to park here, put some money in the meter, and come and fight Skeletor and his Terror Claws. It's just like,
join the Master Universe Club, which James did not, but if you want to join, here you go.
Did they have a date for this as well? Is there I mean, obviously it was a running thing, so I doubt there was any closing date, but I just wonder if there's like any date listed on here for anything. No.
Yeah, nothing listed.
Join the Masters of the Universe Club. Weetos.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
What is the American equivalent of this?
I don't know, because like obviously we had our own exclusive cereal brands as did you guys.
Chocolate flavored wheat hoops. So that would be, I guess nowadays, because they've made chocolate Cheerios, so it would probably be something akin to that.
I remember Weetos. I had them once. They were horrific because they were so crunchy. They weren't like, they get nice and soft in milk. They were just like. When I first got a VHS tape from America sent over in like early '96 with a bunch of He-Man episodes on. I did my first ever tape trade. The guy sent them over. It was all like USA Network ads, obviously episodes of He-Man. They'd have the 30-minute block. So you'd have an entire episode of He-Man, but obviously what we did get over here in the UK is like He-Man will be back after these messages. The 3 ad breaks in between. I was like, how do American kids put up with this? And it's just like, this now it's part and parcel thanks to YouTube. Watch this ad. But the great thing about watching those USA Network episodes, which I've still got that VHS tape, is you get all the American cereals. I'm like, what the fuck is Big Mix? And it's like a mixture of cornflakes and it's just like, and the adverts, you got the, Lucky Charms, Sugar Bear. Who was Sugar Bear? What was that? What was Sugar Bear?
Oh, God. Now you put me on the spot. Because there's Sugar Bear, and then they had Sugar Smacks.
Sugar Smacks was something else. There was,
Golden Crisps, I think.
Yes, that's
Bear.
right. Because Golden Crisp. Yeah, there was Cookie Crisp adverts as well. Cookie Crisp. What other adverts?
Cookie Crisp were not good. I remember eating. It was like, I love cookies and cereal, and I tried when I ate. I was like, nope, this is.
It's amazing. Good. It's amazing thinking back. I remember like the first time I went into a store and I saw like it was almost like stores have their own versions of cereals. So you get like cornflakes and you get Walmart's cornflakes or whatever like the store is. It was Sainsbury's, which is a big chain over here. And it was their own brand of cereal, and it was just a mixture of like random chocolate things, and it was so grotesque because it was just like I'll never forget putting it in a bowl and thinking like, wow, it's like chocolate cereal. This is amazing. And just thinking, I remember like it tasted like poison straight away. I was like, this is awful. Just chuck the rest. But yeah, look at us here talking about food. What else has been happening?
Well, I was going to say that this does it for issue 35. And I dare say this has been my favorite one so far. The Search for Viper Tower, I liked a lot. And of course, the Secret Files, a lot of fun. That middle story, potential is there, but obviously my least favorite of the bunch. But I really enjoyed this one. Finally, an issue of the UK comic I can sit here and say, that was good. I liked it.
It's funny with this one as well because it's like obviously the first and third stories are the best. Sorry, are the strongest of the issue, and it's like, which of those would be considered the best? And it's like, well, the last one isn't technically a story.
True,
it is.
It is
like a moment.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I think it's for me, it's probably the best depiction of He-Man becoming or Prince Adam becoming He-Man. I don't think any other canon has done it as that well. That Clan of the Viper story, again, very, very short story, but I think it's the strongest. And kind of going back to what we were talking about, the second story, that first one doesn't squeeze a lot in. Like, that is the perfect story to tell over 5 pages. King Hiss, right, here's what we're going to do, lads. Go to Skeletor. Skeletor's like, I don't think so. Oh, okay, well, I'll help you out. Then you get that. Then you get that page, and then you get the big splash page. It's the perfect pacing.
It really is.
It's like, that's how the UK comics should have told stories. Like I said, you don't need to have wrap-up panels or battles. You could just go like, right, let's tell a story. But I get you're writing for a younger audience, so you can't be too. You kind of have to be a bit obvious at times and squeeze a lot in. But it is funny that second story is like a big problem with the UK comic. It's just this. There's so much. We talked about it with issue 10. The He-Man Faker story in that one that is kind of perfect in the sense of it is just one situation. See, it's kind of the pacing's okay.
Yeah.
But you go back to the Forgotten Army from issue 10, it's like, Lord have mercy. It's like, in this panel, there's all this exposition and visuals. In this panel, there's all this. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So the UK comic is very hit and miss, but I think its hits are really, really strong. Like any good kind of cartoon series or whatever, you're always going to have hit and miss. But when I've said before about Brave Star, I think Brave Star, for the most part, isn't a great show, but the strongest episode of Brave Star, the strongest episodes of Brave Star, and the very premise of the show and the execution visually, it's an amazing series. But if you were to watch these series, 65 episodes, you'd be like, which one was that? That kind of thing.
How dare you, James? I'm not going to talk to you for
you better not.
Can't stress enough, though, in the Search for Viper Tower story, the Clan of the Viper, man, like that's a fantastic name.
Big great name for a podcast as well. Welcome to the Clan of the Viper.
We're
just
all
a snake man.
Just dressed as a snake man.
Maybe that can be the podcast where we just drink 3 monsters and do a podcast. Clan of the Viper. Why'd you call it the Clan of the Viper? Because when we piss, it's green. Like snake venom. Oh, it burns.
Well, speaking of which, we're going to go see what color our piss is now, and we will be back after these messages.
Now the warrior robots in disguise are in their own action-packed Transformer comic on sale now from Marvel Comics.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden light. It's a good time for the great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
30 years ago, he thought it was over.
Troops, aircraft, rockets, they were all used before.
Now, your favorite fire-breathing monster is back, like you've never seen him before. The legend is reborn in the all-new Godzilla 1985, starring Raymond Burr. Godzilla 1985, rated PG.
Secret Wars. Marvel supervillains are coming. Secret Wars. Can the Marvel superheroes stop them? Marvel supervillains and superheroes figures each sold separately. Here, Doctor Doom and the Doom Platoon, Magneto, Dr. Octopus. There, Captain America and the Champions of Freedom, Spider-Man and Wolverine. Secret Wars. The secret's out. Dr. Doom and Spider-Man, the Marvel Secret Wars collection. Other figures each sold separately. From Mattel.
And we're back, James. More often than not, when Tyler and I are doing shows, occasionally will ask him the question, "Hey, what have you bought lately? What have you been watching lately?" So, James, what you bought lately?
I haven't bought anything. No, I'm joking. I just we pre-planned this. No,
yeah,
I actually. I bought a few things for Christmas. I think I showed you Ace Duck the last time I was on. little present for myself. So on my channel, I'm doing a video about that very same thing, Ace Duck, the quest for me to get an actual Ace Duck figure. In order to do that video, I want to talk about the comic, the original Archie adventure comic in which Ace Duck appeared. The problem is, as nice as it was reading that comic as a kid, it's slightly beat up, and also it's American newsprint, so not as nice as a UK reprint. So what I have for you here, so I'll show you the. We'll get Ace Duck. So you've got nice, clear, crisp pages, like lovely, fine, glossy print.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. Compared to the American version of this, the American version of this, they must have hurriedly put it together in terms of the one I own, because every panel of Raphael in his black costume, which you can just about see at the bottom there, because the ink hadn't dried, is on the every other page.
Oh no!
So bad. So obviously Ace Duck, every page of Ace Duck, he's like this. Yeah, he's all like, yellow. You've got like black Raphael patches all over him. So it's not a good look. So yeah, the quality of these pages, because it's the UK reprint, like really crisp. But yeah,
the cover really good.
I don't know if you remember the cover of the American one, but it's Crying Hound, who's the Turtles wrestling opponent. He's holding all four of them. They redid it for the UK Hero Turtles cover.
Yeah.
It's not as good.
I would have to look and see in my own collection, because I do have quite a bit of the Archie Ninja Turtle books. I should probably go and see if I have that. I don't know. Yeah. Because that version of Ace Duck and everything never really stuck out to me as a kid. I always think action figure more than anything. I know.
Well, a bit of sick came up there. We talked about the Hulk comic the other week and about like how they butchered the colouring of some pages. Look at this one. You've got purple turtles.
Oh my god.
And a purple leatherhead. Funny thing about this comic, same company that did the UK Masters of the Universe comic.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, Fleetway Publications. So they went from
Did they also run anything within those two of like, look at this image? If you can guess everyone here, you can.
No. This is literally this comic is nothing but a reprint with the odd ad here and there.
Okay.
Oh, look at this! Oh god, these for the UK illustrations. Really.
Yep.
The funny thing is, like the UK, I rarely bought this comic, even though the printing was better, because they did their own stories. Fucking awful. Because you can have Michelangelo. Weird, right? Like it's Hero Turtles, but this is Hero Turtles comic. No nunchucks in Hero Turtles.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, they always they would change the odd thing here and there. Like
also, what's up with the mask, like the bandana there on?
Oh, that was because they're wrestling costumes. This was a classic issue. This is what when they released Ace Duck, they also released these turtle variants now, which are the wrestling ones.
See, oddly enough, the only one I ever really remember is just Raphael.
Everyone remembers the Raphael one.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, here's a UK edit that I remember. I should scan this in for my video actually. So look at this. Hang on, right. So Cuddly the Cowlick, this giant cow's head, spits out all the weapons. Spits out all the weapons. You don't remember him? He was he was the equivalent of like a dimensional gate. So he would eat you and take you to another dimension.
Yeah, I don't recollect any just bits and pieces of that. Yeah.
So if you look at Michelangelo's dialogue there, like Raphael goes, what does he say? Well, all right, because they got their weapons back. Oops, excuse me. And Michelangelo says they were in his mouth, right?
Oh, so he can't use them now.
No. That's he does obviously use them because you get that panel, whereas he's wielding them. But the American version, that dialogue says instead of well, all right. Michelangelo replies, except for the spittle. But spittle isn't a UK word. So they could have said except for the saliva, but instead they went with they were in his mouth. So it's like, how bizarre. So yeah, that's like I say, I got this because I can scan those panels in for my video when I do my Eatock deep dive.
I'll dig through my Turtle comics and see how far I collected into it and see what if maybe I don't know.
The Archie Adventure comics were great up until about, I want to say, issue maybe mid-20s. And then because they do the whole thing in like, there's a run from about issue, I want to say 14 to about 19 or 20. Actually, it became most of the time, where they become like really ecologically aware, all about global warming and all this stuff. I mean, even at the end of this story, the Cuddly the Cowlick accidentally transports them into the future. I've taken you too far into the future. 100 years. So technically he takes them to 2088, I guess. And like New York is all flooded and, you know, there's people, it's like the end of days.
Yeah, it's kind of like present day.
Yeah, he's basically saying like a result of out of control greenhouse effect, but this doesn't have to be your future. Yeah, melting ice caps have raised ocean levels, that kind of thing.
Yeah, all right.
So, but then the comic became very much about that. It became like they go to the jungles of Africa, and it becomes about conservation. They go to.
Those are all nice things, but I mean, shit. As a kid, that stuff's boring. You know?
It was. I mean, I appreciate what they were trying to do, even as a kid. But it was like I just want to. And especially when this comic checked out of Shredder and Krang pretty early, I was just like, we want to see Shredder, Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady versus the Turtles. It's a tale as old as time. What else we got here? Is it? Hang on a second.
So that one was more specifically to use for a video for your channel. Link down below, youtube.com/StereoGeekTV.
So this was an interesting one. Robert Lamb recently. So I've been collecting all these Filmation promotional booklets. I've been collecting them over the years. There's one for like Hero, Land of Legend, Bravo, Bugsburg, Hard Chrome, Sherlock Holmes. All these Filmation shows that they were thinking we could do something with this, and then just never came to be. One of the other ones was Quest of the Prairie People. Right?
Oh, interesting.
This was this Filmation show that was going to be a spin-off from Brave Star, and they made one episode which found its way to DVD. But beyond that, it was one of the shows they were working on when like the company closed its doors. But it was you know it was going to be a lot of fun. I won't bother showing inside because that's not the point. But it's it's one of their shows that's like it became Bravo in the end. But it was great. But Rob Lamb, who sold it to me, because it's the only copy I've ever seen of that. It must be like the rarest of those promotional booklets. And Rob sent me like, this isn't an original. It's obviously like he did a copy for me, but it's like this gorgeous illustration of Lucky and Skeletor.
Nice. Yeah.
I was like, it's very cool. And he also sent me this, which he sent me back in the 90s. I was like, I've still got the original, Rob, which was the Whispering Woods map.
Oh, awesome.
So Rob did that with this, but this is one thing he never sent me in the 90s. I was like, you did that as well? He created a map for Brave Star. So like the geographic, like all the locations in Brave Star,
that's
mapped
badass.
them out.
Yeah.
And he did, and this is an awesome one. The hexagon from Brave Star, Tex Hex's base of operations. So he basically said where everything is, and I'm like, that's insane. That's really good work. So yeah, Rob was kind enough like to sell me the Prairie People booklet. And just include all that other stuff. I was like, cheers, Rob. I mean, I've known Rob since '97, so we go back a long ways.
Yeah, man, James just got all this awesome stuff.
But
the beauty of it, though, James, is with all of these things, you share them and you put them out there for everyone.
Oh yeah, like this will all be on my channel at some point.
I love that, and that's the reason why this property is the way that it is now, is because of people like you that are like, I have all this information, I got all this, let's share it with the world. And I you know, I've like I've said before, it's like I love collecting and the stuff, but I also it's been in my DNA since the earliest days of the community, like in the mid to late 90s. Is every time, like I was the first person to get an image of
Hero, the action figure, and Eldor. And I was just like, oh my God. And I put them on the mailing list, and people were like, what the hell is this? I was like, I don't know. And they're from like some Italian or some from Mattel catalog. So, but I also picked up some more Secret Wars UK comics. This one's awesome, right? So I've got issue 2, which was the American cover, but obviously it's issue 2. It's got the free sticker still attached of Doctor Doom.
Oh man, that's great.
Because that went on the poster, which I managed to get the poster. I think I told you, I managed to get the Secret Wars poster again for the first time, like since owning it in the 80s. But again, like as we've talked about before, the old UK comics, it's like, hey, you want some black and white pages, kids? You're going to get some black and white pages. Also, get some color ones.
Oh man, but I love seeing the Thing there in black and white though. Really like.
Yeah, and also you get this as well, which is so cool. It's like a Magneto shield profile.
Love that.
Yeah. Like the UK comic, they did such good work with this, and they.
What's the Ghostbuster advertisement on the back?
Oh, this was on a lot of the Marvel UK comics. This was like prior to the film. It's like guess another club I didn't join. Join the Ghostbusters club. It's weird. I was so into Ghostbusters the movie long before the toys and everything and cartoon, but for some reason I just never invested in. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, look, there's a good one. The Wrecker from another Shield profile.
Oh, yeah, I love the Wrecker.
Yeah, the Wrecker. What's it, issue 12? But issue 12 was good cover, that one. I like that.
Oh,
of Galactus.
Yeah, it's badass.
This is like the repurposed American cover for the UK cover. And there's the old dead wasp at the bottom. Or was she dead? This one's got where is it? This one's got the Iceman backup strip. It was like an Iceman miniseries that came out in the mid-80s. So because Amazing Friends was popular on TV, they started putting Iceman in this comic. So it's like, where is it? There, like Iceman. Which was a really cool story.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're watching the cartoon, which was very light-hearted, and this Iceman story was like really dark. Like literally, a lot of darkness in those stories. Bought some more UK Transformers comics. Oh wow, look at this. I haven't actually looked at these since they arrived. These are some UK fan art from back in the day.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great. So you wonder what happened to these.
Go back to the sound wave there in the center.
Where was he? Over here?
Is he right in the middle? Maybe
I'm
not.
gonna stop.
Stop right in the center.
There?
No, to your left and down.
Down. What there?
Yeah.
Which one?
No,
Where is it?
No, go up. Go up.
Which one am I going?
Oh, wait, that sound. What does that say? Sound.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. Sound Blaster, which
Sound
is amazing because
Blaster,
that was the Japanese name for him. So obviously this kid didn't know that and did Sound Blaster. Oh, I can't get my thing. There we go.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah.
And if anybody think I was doing a racist Japanese impersonation, then go and listen to the show. That's how he pronounced Sound Blaster. Oh, look at this, man. So when the UK comic initially started telling their own stories, they didn't quite know what they were doing. So the most famous first story was called Man of Iron. And it's like everything is so toy accurate. They're nice illustrations. They're not horrible, but they're for a different comic, if you know what I mean.
Right.
They're too kind of heavily detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because the story is about the Transformers like in the Midlands of England. Oh, popular place. And like just the cover is like Mirage just walking around a little town, little village.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
It's really weird. But the one of the things I loved about this comic as a kid was that the backup story in this was Steve Ditko's Machine Man. I loved Ditko's artwork even as a kid.
Kill me or cure me.
Dude. Either or. But like, look at it.
You bought a lot of stuff, man. I thought it was just going to be like
story. Look how this is the Transformers story. It's so kind of, and then when they would come to do their first decent story called The Enemy Within, even though it was very toy oriented, they found the visual style they should be telling these stories in. This was it's quite funny that the UK Transformers comic comes from a time when it was war comics was still the trend in England, like Warrior and all these comics with like Sergeant Commando. I think he said Sergeant Bilko. Like, all these kind of like oldie, like it wasn't about robots. So when the Transformers comic happens, they you can tell the editors were sort. I need to read more about it. But my theory is that they were sort of like, how do we do this? So a lot of the earliest issues are like, here's the latest information about robots. It's like, no, kids are playing with Transformers toys. They want to see Transformers in action. So I think the writers of the comic weren't sure of how to tell these stories. It's like, right, so they're robots from an alien world. So what would robots in an alien world do? They'll walk around England, like going, look at that, and then fighting the baddie jets or whatever.
Yeah.
Got some more stuff. This was the last purchase I made of the year. I think you'll really love this. Hang on. Yeah, so I bought 2 issues of. So this was the Spider-Man comic, issue 634.
Wow.
And this was where they decided that Amazing Friends cartoon is doing good. Maybe we should rebrand the Spider-Man comic. So this is astonishing. So you got the Spider-Man comic with the free transfers still attached.
God, how much does price difference? What does that make when you're going to purchase something like that?
Oh, this cost me. I want to say it wasn't like £20, maybe like $25.
Okay. All right.
But for me, like to find, and it's even still got. So you got the transfers, and you can put them on this completely inappropriate background of like, oh, I put the transfers on this cardboard. It's like, yeah those work. But yeah, I think the story this isn't a very good reprint. I don't know if it's going to show up very well, but like, so this is the story. I think I mentioned it in a previous episode we were talking about. It's the one with the Abomination in. So the Abomination is one of my favorite villains, the Marvel Universe, and this was like a one-off story. I think they did 3 Amazing Friends stories in America. One was like Spider-Man Amazing Friends comic, just like a one-off Marvel comic. Then they did 2 others, which were weirdly with a brand. So I think one was like, I forget what they were, but they were part of something sort of like, it's a celebration of the Nutcracker in association with Amazing Friends, that kind of thing. It's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I got another issue.
They always do all those weird, some of those
tie-ins,
offshoot, tie-in stuff is just.
Here we go. There's another one. So that was issue 634. I've got issue 635 also with the transfers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's like, so yeah, this is the following issue. What, a Fraggle Rock advertisement on the back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Was that a comic? What was that? The Magic Time Machine takes over Fraggle Rock. I don't ever remember that comic.
Yeah, it's kind of everything at this point had a comic. Anything that was popular probably got a comic book at some point.
Actually, they've got like a preview of Fraggle Rock in here. The artwork's really nice. Like, I used to love Fraggle Rock as a kid, but that's some pretty detailed Fraggle artwork if ever I've seen it.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, there is a song about that, but I can't repeat it because it's very rude. Oh, look at this trippy image. Oh, wow, we've got some more artists. Look at this one. Which two Spider-Men? Which 2 Spider-Men are exactly the same? So which 2 Spider-Men are exactly the same?
Okay.
Oh, damn, look at it. That's insane. That's like a magic eye picture. You'd be looking at it going like, your nose starts bleeding. Oh my God, that's amazing. I love that. What else we got in here? Yeah, this Danger in Denver story. Oh, Secret Wars advert. Oh, with Kitty Pryde. Look at that. It's like a. Hang on, where are we? Yeah, it's like a sideways advert. Can you
that's
see it
interesting.
there?
Yeah.
And then you go
on sale now.
And you see Kitty Pryde there. Is she there? There she is. Go away, Kitty Pryde, just by Cyclops. She got removed. So yeah, those are just my recent UK comic purchases.
Very nice.
Like I said before to you and Tyler, you guys got me back into comic collecting, which is
Hey, I love to
both
hear
awesome, and you both owe me loads of money because I keep spending money. No, I don't, honestly, I don't spend that much on these because like I can't. But at the same time, I'm like,
in that event, make sure that not only are you subscribed to Serial Geek TV, but subscribe to his Patreon as well.
Go to my Patreon. Yeah.
That way he can get more money to buy more comics.
But it's bear in mind, it's like when I'm buying this stuff, it's always in mind
for content.
There's no way I'm not talking about the UK Transformers comic, the Spider-Man comic, and I've said to you and Tyler before, like I want to talk extensively about Secret Wars UK from issue 1 to issue 80 because it's like I love Secret Wars so much. I never delved too much into Secret Wars 2, only the 9 issues of the limited series, but the UK comic covered all the crossover issues. So yeah, I want to check out all that, and like I say, all of that stuff at some point in some shape or fashion appears on the channel because that's what it's all about. It's not all about creating content for content's sake. It's creating content to make people go, "Oh, that's cool," or "I didn't know that." I always want to entertain and educate.
Absolutely, and I love it. Like I said before, but if it weren't for you, I mean, really think about that sometimes. If it weren't for you in the He-Man community early on like that, finding this stuff, putting stuff out there too, and obviously there would be others along the way that are going to contribute. But without you, there's like a big chunk of that's just missing for a longer period of time or not discovered at all.
There's so much stuff that you see Mattel tapping into these days, like the whole, stuff like those artist figures they've been releasing, which I'm not a fan of. I'm like, whatever.
The sketchbook concept.
But all of those are because of myself, Emiliano, and Josh Van Pelt uncovering the artwork. Like the Hordak they released, I own that artwork. I scanned it. I put it in a book. Mattel are like, let's turn that into a figure.
Yeah.
The Grizzlaw, the Tusk one. Again, that was Josh Van Pelt. The Spycore, the brown Spycore, Josh Van Pelt. The Cyclone, Cyclone with the orange look and the RoboCop visor.
Yeah,
it's stuff that we uncovered all those years ago, and continue to uncover. The billion-dollar companies don't mind if we do, and they're more than welcome to. Of course, it's their baby, but at the same time, it's like, there is still. I mean, obviously, we get more and more fans coming into the brand because of social media, going like, "Oh, yeah, I'm such a fan of this stuff," and they just assume that they always have done. Like Mattel have this huge vault.
Yep.
It's like Mattel never had this huge vault archive of stuff. I know it firsthand. They had some stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't have everything, and it's funny. Like, and at the same time, I understand why Mattel didn't keep that stuff. It's like, yeah, we did that Master Universe toy line. Time to move on. We're a company that makes money. We move from project to project.
Yep.
Master Universe was this project that made us a load of money. Maybe at some point we'll revisit it. We'll try with new adventures. Fail. Let's leave this alone for a while. So they don't hold on to things, And
most companies don't, especially back then. Like they're better about it now, I would say, but back then, no, they weren't.
Within reason, I mean, you still hear to this day that there are like some companies that just don't have archives of stuff, and it's like, I was seeing some posts recently about the Princesses of Power series, the She-Ra reboot they did. Well,
yeah.
God, it feels probably nearly 10 years ago now, which is crazy.
Actually, it's
2017, 2018?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, I think so.
Which is nuts.
Yep.
And they were saying like they only released the first 2 or 3 series on DVD, and they didn't release anything past that. And when they spoke to people that worked on the show, like the kind of message was, "Oh yeah, we barely got anything. Whatever we recorded, because it's not on Netflix now anymore or something. It's a real mess." And you think,
I was seeing something about that. I guess it got taken off of Netflix.
Yeah, and
interesting.
Social media. Sorry, streaming platforms to me are such a load of nonsense these days.
Yep, that's why physical media is important and archiving stuff is important. I've found myself kind of buying more Blu-rays and 4Ks just because I'm. you never know. It's like, yeah, I may have this movie in my digital library. It might be on a streaming service, but there's been so many times I'm like, all right, it happened last night. I was like, I want to watch The Big Lebowski. Is it streaming anywhere right now? No, it's not. So it's like,
really?
It's
That's
like,
nuts.
yeah, I'll need to. I mean, you can purchase it digitally, but I'm like, all right, if I really want to watch it that badly tonight, I'll go down to my collection and pick out the Blu-ray, which I didn't. I just sat and scrolled through some more. I was like, all right, we'll put that.
Well, the thing I do love that phrase that's going around. It feels like it's got a load of holes in it, but it's the thing of, these days it's like, oh, you want to own The Big Lebowski? It's like, yes, I'd like to watch it anytime. Well, you own it on our platform. It's like, right, okay. Yeah. But it's like, you don't technically own it. So people's argument now is like, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. and they've said there's been, when streaming platform, like the few that there were, like let's say Netflix, maybe at a push Disney Plus, the arrival of Disney Plus, the piracy went, because it was just like, oh, everything's available streaming. Now that there's so many streaming platforms, utterly pointless ones, like, oh, this, that, and the other, and like, oh, we own this, let's turn it into a streaming platform. All these different streaming platforms. Basically, people are getting more and more frustrated with like, oh, so now in order to watch The Big Lebowski and From Dusk Till Dawn and Pulp Fiction, I've got to own 3 separate streaming platforms. That's going to cost me $30 just to own those platforms in order to stream them, and then to watch them, I've already bought those as well. And they said because of this, the bloody piracy's gone up again. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of had it right there. Yeah. And they insist on
greed. Greed is what it was.
Yeah, because I think on HBO Max, I think a big chunk of DC animated stuff at the end of this month is going to be removed, and I think Batman the Animated Series might be one of them. So it's like, all right, where's that going to wind up? Because I think right now you can watch it on Prime Video if you're subscribed. I think there might be another place. So I'm like, do they stay there? Or do they also leave from that? But I'm like, I have it on Blu-ray. Those came with the digital code. I have that redeemed digitally in my library for now. Yeah. So there's still options, but physical media, very, very important. So, and archiving stuff, man, because it's like I said, that stuff just got here and there and blah, blah, blah. And luckily you guys were able to collectively over time pull a lot of this shit together. Yeah. So thanks for doing that. James, I'm going to keep this rolling. What is your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yeah, what is your favorite word?
Sorry. So my favorite word. I would say I don't know, what is my favorite word? It's a good question to ask. I should have been prepared, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Should have known this. Should have known this was coming. Based on.
I mean, it's just an interview. So what would be my favorite?
That's all this is. It's just me interviewing.
What is my favorite word? Spittle.
There you go.
There you go.
What is your least favorite word?
Ninja, because it scares me. Ninja Turtles. Oh, thank God the British film classification saved me.
See, hero should have been your favorite word, and least favorite word should have been ninja.
Oh, that'd have been funnier.
What turns you on?
You.
Awesome.
In what sense? Just like generally, or
generally. What turns you on?
I'm trying to think. Waking up and being alive is a turn on. I'm still alive.
What turns you off?
Unnecessary anger. Wasted potential. There you go.
What sound or noise do you love?
Fart.
That's a good one. What sound or noise do you hate? I should have quickly played the fart noise.
Oh, we just edit it in. Get it from a series called Peppa Pig. That is the best fart sound ever. It was when we did the DVDs for the Peppa Pig, the initial UK release. So we had access to all this material, and DVDs in 2004, 2005 were all about like interactive features, and there was like a game on there, and the game was there was a show within a show on Peppa Pig called Happy Mrs. Chicken, I think it was called, and the game was just like help Happy Mrs. Chicken lay her eggs, and the chicken would go, and you press the button, and she'd fart out an egg like, and a little egg would appear, and she'd go over there. It was just that all the time, and then and then the game would end where she would just go crazy laying eggs, going, and everybody would like cheer and laugh. I was like, what? And then my friend, because he had because he had all the materials, he managed to isolate the fart sound. So he would, because we worked in this building, we're doing this DVD company, worked in this like, what was it, 4 or 5 story building. And you'd get a call one day in your edit suite, and you're like, hello, and he would just play the fart sound on the phone at full blast. But it was great, because it was just like, it was a real good, great, like, and he'd be like, oh God, he just hung up the phone.
I'll have to look that up.
I'll find it for you. Happy Mrs. Chicken.
But what sound or noise do you hate?
You know.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
That's the North Star.
What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, it's got to be the F word.
Well, you can.
No, actually, the F or the C word. I love both of those, because the C word you can drop, and people are like, ooh. I think the C word, when you drop it, you get a good sense of who someone is. Like, oh, they're good with this, or oh.
I mean, do you want to say it? You can if you want to.
I don't want to say it like because you might say it, and then it's like, this video has been flagged for inappropriate content.
All right,
you cunt. But yeah,
there we go. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, it's a bit late in life, and I'm nearly 50.
Plenty of time.
Oh no, I when I was growing up, they wanted me to be in athletics. Like, I was a really good runner. Like my schools always wanted me to run for the school, because I love running. I still do to this day. The only problem is nowadays the body doesn't so much like running.
Short distance or long distance?
Short. Actually, yeah, I would say when I was younger, I used to love sprinting, like your 100 meters, or probably for kids, it was probably 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all those kind of things. But the older I got, the longer the running got. So like I've done over the last 6 or 7 years, I've done half marathons, and I did a 10K back in September.
Yeah, that you like barely give yourself time to train for.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I think that's like what I'm kind of getting at, is that I was always like a somewhat gifted runner naturally. Like, I could do very little training. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when I run these days, you have to shift the weight, but I don't warm up or prepare too much. I'll do like 3 or 4 weeks training on a treadmill and just kind of do my thing, and then go like, right, I'm gonna. But because I'm a big fan of the Olympics, I love the Olympics, and every 4 years I watch the Olympics from start to finish, and I always get those moments where it's like, what could it's not regrets. I have no regrets in life. I'm always like, oh, what could have been? That would have been pretty awesome. Like, because I love the crowds, I love the adoration of the masses, as Ace Duck says quite eloquently. I think I would love to have run in front of a crowd. I probably would have finished last or whatever, but like to be a part of that.
But if you went and became an Olympic runner, James, then we wouldn't have all this content for Masters of the Universe that we have today.
That's the thing, the old sliding doors thing. It's like you go one way, you go another. It's like when they were trying to get me to be running for the school, I just wanted to stay home and draw.
Yeah.
I remember my probably a sad story to some. I mean, I certainly made up for it over the last 20 years, but in my teenage years, my friends would go to house parties and get like drunk and do drugs or whatever, and like, all that crazy 14, 15, 16-year-old stuff. When I would get invited out, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to stay in tonight. And I'd sit in my room and copy panels from Eric Larson or Todd McFarlane. I used to love just trying to create my illustration style, because obviously that's what everyone does. They create their own style by I'm no artist, but I can draw to a degree. I used to love just sitting there drawing or reading comics, and like I even remember to this day, like not going to a house party, instead going to a magazine shop in London to research the dates for episodes that He-Man aired.
Yeah,
I didn't go to a house party because of that.
You were just a good kid.
Well, no, it's funny because I when I talk to my friends now who went to those house parties, they're always like, they're full of regret. They're like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, they're awful. It's like, so and so threw up. I shat myself. I got drunk or whatever. It's just like, oh my God, I'm glad I missed out on that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I made up for that stuff in later years. I was shatting myself. And everything,
I was gonna say, you just shit in your pants in your late 20s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I certainly made up for that. Like everyone always said it's like you kind of had this hedonistic lifestyle from like 29 onwards, and it's like, yeah, I did. I've curbed that down massively now because you can't do it for too long.
Nope. Yep.
The body just goes, give me a break.
Yeah, I'm kind of learning that now in that space. You're starting to realize it's like, oh, the stuff that I used to do before, I can't really do that anymore.
I used to like going from about like what, the age of just, I don't know, like late 20s throughout my 30s and early 40s. I used to love going to clubs and stuff and dancing the night away. I loved it. Lived for that stuff. Now it's like, do you want to go to a club? I'm like,
yeah, it can't be
really
bothered.
It's that thing. It's like, I am,
are there going to be people there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that thing. It's like, I used to love going out and celebrating New Year's. I didn't do it as much as like most people, but going out and celebrating New Year's with my friends, going out of town. The last time I remember doing it, actually the second to last time I remember doing it, we went out, we celebrated New Year's, Happy New Year, like in the centre of London, fireworks, everything. And then getting home was the most miserable experience back. This would have been 94, I think it was, 1994. Getting back to our respective homes and it was freezing cold. And we were just like, oh, I just want to get, and the buses were rammed and people were fighting in the streets. And then the last time I went to London to do the fireworks celebrations was 2008. And that was great because we did some sort of like record-breaking thing where the fireworks ended. Like, we've got to get home. We found a night bus because bus transportation had improved. It got us back home within an hour. It's like, that was amazing. How did we do that? It was so good. We just spent the rest of the night drinking. But yeah, it's but now it's like New Year's, like Tracy going to this. I always, every year I get invited to New Year's parties. It's like, I'm good. I'm just going to stay in the warmth. And when January the 1st hits, I'm going to be making videos, because I love it.
Yeah, I'm the same way about stuff anymore. It's like, in theory, going out and doing this sounds like a great idea, but it's like, all right, we'll do this. We'll be here X amount of time. It takes this long to get there, this long to get back. By the time we get home, it'll be this time. We'll have to do this, and this. Then what time is it going to be? And it's like, it's like, I just rather... Just it sucks, but
the thing that always annoys me, and it's a part of me that I really wish I didn't have, is that I really love meeting new people. I know that's not everyone's bag. Right. I love going to parties and just meeting someone because you never know who you're going to meet. And I always love like talking to people about what you do and stuff. That's why I've always been that social person, which is weird because I wasn't when I was a kid. I was busy drawing and creating. But yeah, I still do. I love meeting new people, but the kind of mental effort to do that now seems to be like, oh, I've got to get out, I've got to get ready. Do I feel like I want to go out tonight? There's all that thing, and it's a real bugger.
Yeah, it is. What profession would you not like to do?
Oh God, what profession would I not like to do? I know one job I'd never want, which has been said that I should do. You should direct you should write and direct a He-Man movie, and I'm like, never want to do that. Like, why would I want that responsibility? That sounds like the worst job ever.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah, I honestly think like, yeah.
Speaking of which,
brand manager. There you go.
Speaking of which, do you think it's odd that we're already almost into mid-January? No trailer? Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Something's
not right there.
Yeah, not even a teaser, right? Which had photos.
Nothing.
Unless
we just had that one. We had that one photo more like, and there's been
the ones with the sword where he's got the sword.
Yeah, it's the one where like that back shot of him. Where the
and then you get the photos of him and Teela in the street and stuff.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it.
It's either going to. I think the movie's. I mean, it's a stupid thing to say because of course. But it's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to bomb massively, and people are going to go, "What the fuck is that shit? Let's not bother." Or I think it might. I'm not saying it's going to do the same thing that Barbie did, because I thought Barbie was a pretty amazing movie.
Yeah, Barbie was pretty solid.
I thought it was very clever. I don't think they can make the He-Man movie in the same vein, though, and I worry that from what I heard, they were going to try and do it in the same vein and be very meta. It's like it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can think is that the Master Universe movie works because it's unlike any other movie at the moment. That's the only thing I can think, because what people want and what people expect is an action movie. I have the power, ching, 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 all this. If they do something different, that is the way I think people will be like, oh shit, like the Barbie movie.
Right.
I think I'd obviously read a few reviews, so I knew the kind of movie it was going to be. But when they announced it, it was just like, oh, so it's going to be like an adventure with Barbie, and then it becomes this very meta thing and very kind of, very very broad movie. It was, and a movie that didn't deserve to be as good as it was. I was like, what the fuck's going on with this film?
Right.
And that's the only one I think the Master Universe movie succeeds, is because it's so different to everything out there at the moment. If it is that, if it tries to be a superhero movie, you're telling me that Master Universe movie is going to do better, or you're going to even come close to the box office bomb of something like Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain America 4. All the Marvel movies recently have bombed, right? That's fair to say.
More or less, yeah.
Or I don't know, that unknown character Superman, right? That movie came out. It was mixed reviews. It's been a bit like, you think a He-Man movie is going to even come remotely close to that level of...
Yeah.
And we're talking Superman. And if Superman can't deliver at the box office,
right.
What the fuck is He-Man going to do?
Exactly.
Do you know, I won't say it publicly, I know the viewing figures for the second half of Revelation and Revolution.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like...
Ooh.
Okay, so... That was the audience you got on Netflix, which a big percentage of the world owns. That's the audience you got.
Yeah.
I don't know the mindset. The only way this works is if they go on a real hype machine, which I know they will. You're going to see all the usual suspects on YouTube and stuff, bought and paid for, going, you got to go and see this movie. It's the greatest movie ever. But the proof is in the pudding. When people, you could see something where it's like the biggest what you're laughing at.
No, I'm just thinking of the idea that just one day someone turns on this show on this channel. I'm just sitting there like, oh, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. They're like, ah.
But that's the thing. Like I said to people, I'd love it to succeed.
Absolutely.
I want to go to the cinema and see a kick-ass Master Universe movie. I don't think I'm going to get to see that though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And I think like, yeah, it's people still ask me to this day like, "Oh, you involved at all?" It's like, no. Why would I be? And it's like, well, you worked on this for decades. You know so much, and I was like, and that's the reason why I'm not involved.
Right.
Which is always mind blowing to me, because I've always said if someone hired me, I always use this example. Someone said, James Eatock, here's a blank check. It's always pretty good, but like. You're going to be the new showrunner for a Ninja Turtles cartoon. I'd be like, wow. The first thing I would do is speak to my friends, or probably what I would do more is find a Ninja Turtles expert, like whatever direction it is, and say like, okay, so I've been tasked with doing this. I would hire that person to some degree, like whatever was in my power. And I'd tap them and say, like, what are we trying to do here? What are we looking for? Not do the classic thing, what you see every day now is like, I'm a long-time fan of Ninja Turtles, grew up with them, watched every episode, owned every toy. It's just that same blanket shit. Like, it's that same thing every time. I'm a huge fan of Master. Like I've read no interviews with the director of this He-Man movie, but I can guarantee we've had the same thing. I loved the cartoon. I loved the toys. I loved it. So that's a coincidence, then, isn't it? That you got, you know what I mean? It's like it's always that thing. Just be honest and be like, oh, I didn't know much about it. Like that's the thing that always frustrated me about the Kevin Smith thing, is that I saw him on Fat Man on Batman in the cantina, the Star Wars cafe thing that I don't know if they still do the show, but they did the show from. And he said, yeah, Master Universe. He goes, I remember the cartoon. He goes, a little bit after my time, I'd come home from like school or whatever. I forget what age he was, but he said it was a little after my time. I was still into Star Wars, so he goes, but he liked the look of it. That was Kevin Smith in like 2015 or something.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, he's given the job, and guess what? Oh, I always watched it. And it's like, why do they do that?
No,
It's
I
just
don't
so
know.
silly. So the only thing I think is with this movie, it's Master Universe, it succeeds is because it's going to succeed if it's so different and so kind of catches people off guard, like the Barbie movie did.
Right.
It's
But at the same time, doing that, I think totally isolates the fans of the property to an extent.
This movie isn't for it never was. It's never ever going.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I know,
like,
yeah. It's like if they made a movie for the fans, like this is going to sound a bit like pig-headed, but they would probably hire some of the fans. Think about it. When they had the license, when Mattel launched the 2002 cartoon, they hired me and Zadok to write a backstory, an encyclopedia for the writers of that show to work on. So the writers of the 2002 cartoon looked to us to make their show. Val and Emiliano, huge fans of Master Universe, pitch a comic to Mattel or get the license. Mattel are like, yep, go for it. The relationship between the fans and the corporation was so good back then with that reboot. And then at some point, it was just like, no, keep the fans away from it. And I'm not saying every property has to listen to the fans.
Right.
You make the film you want to make or you've got to make. But it's crazy to me that I think a majority of the fan base will dislike this film because you're going to get people that want the filmation. They want to see filmation on screen. You're not going to get that. You're going to get the people that want Savage Barbarian He-Man. You're not going to get that. They're going to get people who want bloody Revelation He-Man. Not going to get that. It's this thing of, and I understand from a filmmaking point of view, you've got to make something specific. Like the 1987 movie, for example, so very different. Like it got rinsed because people were like, what the fuck is this? But in time, people have learned to appreciate it, like myself, and gone like, oh no, I get it now. I hated it at the time. But hate's too strong a word. I loved Bill Stout's artwork. Always loved that. Like when I remember buying the Master Universe live out, I've still got it, the magazine, the poster magazine, and just seeing his sketches, thinking like, this stuff's awesome. And then seeing the movie and being like, ugh. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I want this movie to succeed. I just don't think it will. And I hope this can be clipped and cropped at some point and said James Eatock was wrong. You know?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You would love to be wrong.
Oh, I'd love to be. There's so many times I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah.
But every time in recent years, it's like I'm proven right. I told you so. But it's just like my fears come true. You know, it's just like, yeah. Just I guess that's just where we are, man.
And
in
finally,
this crazy world. Oh, sorry, it's still a question. I forgot.
And finally, if heaven exists, James, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, that's so, Mr. Lipton. I'm trying to think. No, that's not what God's going to say. that'd be really weird. God, is James Lipton? No,
we got it wrong, boys. Send him back.
Yeah, send him back. Yeah. No, I tell you what. Yeah, here we go. I walk through, and he just goes, "Good job." I'm like, "Cheers, man," because that's all I want. It's like I've always said. I know for a fact, if I was to die tomorrow, I could like look back and be like, "That was pretty fucking good. That was good time spent." Yeah. You know, I've always said I have no regrets in life because every decision, right or wrong, has led me to this point. If I'm content and happy at this point, then it was worth it.
I hope this isn't going to be one of those things right now, though, just based on how you taled about it. Like that shit that you've seen where it's like, this was the last interview with this, and they made mention of
yeah. Then it becomes a Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, Jesus. No, that's always been my attitude. It's just like, you know, it's not a case of like irresponsibly living in the now.
Yeah.
But it's a case of, oh, no, I live each day as it comes. I plan, but I don't over plan. I'm not like, well, by the time I'm 50, I'm going to have $100,000 in the bank because right now I've got -2. So it's like, It's because of those bloody comics I keep buying. God. So yeah, but like I say, if God was to open the doors, I just was like, yeah, good job, you did all right. I'm like, thanks, man. That's all I want.
Well said, James. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the fact that we got to cover some more UK comics. So without any further ado, this camera, and this camera, let the people know what you got going on with your life.
Oh yeah, Hot Ones reference. Cool.
No,
you should purposely edit that now. So YouTube channel, Serial Geek TV, working on loads of videos, the usual stuff. Yeah, just doing what I do, really. I'll be saying the same thing next time I'm on the show. I'll be like, just doing the usual stuff.
Now, after the episode I recorded with Tyler and this one, I won't do the James Lipton stuff anymore. Though in the future, if we ever do, if we get Danielle on the channel,
definitely
get Tom back.
Yeah,
I might do that. So
it's a fun little thing because it does create conversation.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans out. But I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like it, comment down below, let us know your thoughts on the UK comics and all the other shit James and I talked about. Make sure you subscribe. Ooh. And until later,
burp, sorry.
Let the power return. You can hit me with like a Ghostbusters quote if you want. And I just yeah, Ghostbusters. What's your favorite? What is your favorite line from that movie?
From Ghostbusters?
Yeah, your absolute favorite piece of dialogue.
The thing is, for me, it's such a quotable movie.
Yeah, but if you had to pick, or if a line is like too hard, maybe
I'm actually going through the movie in my head, like not scene by scene, but just let me think.
I guess I could rephrase it and say what was your favorite scene of Ghostbusters? Because one line of dialogue is like that's a little too hard. What's your favorite scene?
You got to understand, like the thing is with Ghostbusters, it is my favorite movie of all time from start to finish. Like I saw it at the cinema as a kid, I fell in love with it as a kid. I watched the UK movie premiere when I was a kid. I was so in love with that. I still am in love with that movie. I got to work on the property. It's so dear to my heart. It's so hard to say what's your favorite. There are so many I love the scene. One of the scenes I love is the moment Ghostbusters starts to become a reality, where you have Peter sat on the wall of Columbia University. Do you know how much a patent clerk earns? No. That conversation. I love that the composition, the conversation. It's very real.
Yeah.
I love that scene. I love every scene.
I love all of it.
It's crazy. Like the montage is fantastic.
Yeah, the montage is very good.
One of my favorite sound effect moments is obviously the neutrona wand or whatever they call it. I always think of them as like proton guns and proton beams because of the cartoon, but obviously they're like neutron neutrona wands, I think they're called, because it's an actual official sound effect, like the doo and then the ch, and it's when they're firing at Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and they start roast in, they start firing, and if you listen in the background, the noise of the neutrona one, like the beams, like it gets higher and higher, it raises in pitch, almost as if they're roasting it. It's such an amazing moment in audio. And that's the thing about the movie as well. Like you see all the behind the scenes stuff, and you admire it even more.
Yeah.
And the amount of people, quite a few, not like loads and loads, but quite a few people that worked at Filmation were working on He-Man at the time, and also creating concept artwork for Ghostbusters. So what a world! What a time to be alive!
Yeah,
I'm so genuinely happy that I saw. Do you know that's the craziest thing? I've seen for my sins. Every Ghostbusters movie at the cinema, everyone. I saw one at the cinema when it came out. I saw two when me and my dad were on holiday in Canada in '89. I saw the all-female one when that came out.
Yeah.
I saw Afterlife when that came out, and I saw Frozen Empire when that came out.
I haven't watched Frozen Empire. I don't think that I will.
The worst thing was when I read reviews of that afterwards and I didn't read too many because again, it's just I don't want to waste my time with it. But people saying, oh, it's like an episode of the cartoon. I was just like, well, you've never seen an episode of the cartoon then, have you? Because that was the most stupid summary to say, because their attitude was like, oh, it's a new villain. It's just like the cartoon. It's like, if you think the cartoon was that ridiculous in its plot, it's just, anyway, yeah. What was this spawned out of? Just what's your favorite quote from Ghostbusters?
Well, just where we
Impossible.
usually where we do the movie quote at the end. I was just like, I just quote some Ghostbusters at me, and then that had me thinking, well, what's your favorite line from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, tricky, but yeah.
Yeah, tricky. All right. Well, everyone, we'll see you soon. Thanks
Bye.
for watching, and thanks for your time.
Oh, we should shake hands.
Uh,
All right.
No, no, this way. Yeah.
This way.
Yeah.
That's how you end it.
All right.
Nobody steps on a church in my town. 1, 2, 3,